Hey, my name is Yuri Lowenthal, and you've probably killed me 1,000,000 times in video games. And you're listening to The Gaming Outsider.
Hey there, Go community. This week, Kevin joined Zack, CB, and myself to take a look back at the SEGA Dreamcast, including ours and the community's favorite memories of the console. In news, Nintendo had a ton of announcements at this week's Direct. CB got a couple hours into Star Wars Outlaws and finished a game called Rewind or Die, and I played a couple of new games this week called Knock on the Coffin Lid and Searching for Rest. I also bit the bullet and saw the Borderlands movie, and it's not nearly as bad as everyone thinks. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. We've also got a community at facebook.com/groups/thegocast, and even a Discord server. You can find a link for that in the show notes of this very episode. It is Tuesday, August 27th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Zack Parkerson. What's up, man?
It's a good day.
It's going to be a good day.
Yeah, because Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer dropped. Am I right?
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. Shadow the Hedgehog.
I actually didn't even watch it. I saw that it posted, and I just immediately clicked it and forwarded it to one of our guests this week.
Understandable.
Or our lone guest, I guess I should say, this week.
Our illustrious guest.
Yeah, but who is not a guest, but's been gone for a little while. Welcome back, Mr. Chris Berensmeyer. What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Dude, it's been a minute.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been a minute. Well, it's only been, 2 weeks?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I in my mind, it was 2 months. I forgot you did that one episode. Sorry.
Yeah, Scott thinks you're pretty
See, I'm just not important.
Yeah.
Scott forgets who I am.
My brain
pretty sad.
Only calls me when he needs things.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
It's like, I need you to do this. I need you to buy this game. Are you going to buy this? Then
what are you talking about? What game did I ask you to
Star
buy?
Wars Outlaws.
I just asked if you were buying it because I needed to know if I was going to buy it. Anyway.
Man, can you guys figure out your sugar daddy, sugar baby stuff before you get on the pod?
Yeah, right. Anyway, it's not just the three of us. It's not a special guest. He's a core team member, and the guy that makes us all sound as good as we do, Mr. Kevin Honigford. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. You guys keep saying all these big words before my name, though. Makes me feel like I got something to live up to. I need you to stop that.
No, dude.
Happy
awesome.
Kevin, make us happy.
Did you purposely wear the red tonight so you could be Dr. Robotnik?
God damn it. Better than Shadow.
We could not have a episode talking about anything Sega related as the topic without having Kevin here. And so I'm really excited because I know very little about the SEGA Dreamcast, so we brought in an expert. I'm just going to facilitate the conversation because I know nothing about the SEGA Dreamcast.
I, on the other hand, I'm sweating bullets over here. I'm going to get one factoid wrong, and I'm going to look foolish.
It's okay, man.
Kevin,
as long as you didn't go to wikipedia.org to get all your information, we're
copy
good.
Paste.
Is that not a thing anymore?
Can I get a couple hours real quick to?
I can't go on Wikipedia anymore because every time I do, they ask me to donate money now. Like we're falling apart. We need your money to keep this alive. I'm like, well, I don't use you, so
that's such teacher brain.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's because they have to hire more and more people because everybody just I'm going to edit every page I can.
Because when I was in school, teachers are like, "Do not use Wikipedia."
I mean, that's good advice, man.
But is the key not then to just go to all the sources listed on Wikipedia?
Yeah, I was about to say, no, Wikipedia is one of the best because all their notes are at the bottom.
Yeah. But your typical student is not going to do that. They're just going to copy and paste from the body of the thing, and or they're just going to go to AI.
I was going to say, or Chat
GPT.
Yeah, you got a whole new minefield to navigate.
Yeah, not yet. We haven't done any papers yet, but I'm expecting that. We'll see what happens. But let's get into the games we've been catching up on. I'm going to start with Kevin. Kevin, what have you been playing lately?
I got a wild, kind of weird hankering for some action, and I started jumping into the Atlas Fallen remake. Not remake. It's like the special edition.
It's like the like when Cyberpunk put out its big DLC, right? And reworked everything, all the leveling up and everything. Yeah.
Yep. I can't even remember what the actual title is. It's Atlas Fallen something sand something.
Rain of Sand.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Such a great guest. But the No, I did not play the original. I had thought I had, but then I realized I could fuse that with a different game. So I don't really know how to compare it to the original, but this seems pretty fun, actually. I've only played probably, I want to say like 4, maybe 5 hours. And it's an enjoyable experience so far.
I'm going to be direct. I don't remember what this game is. Can you refresh my memory?
It is. So the story is probably its weakest point, unfortunately. But it's kind of Zelda-esque. It's a gear-gated 3D, third person. Yeah, I won't say RPG because it's not really an RPG, but there are elements of an RPG to it. But you are basically, you famously wake up with insomnia, and you realize, after talking to people that rescued you, who you are and who your friends were, and one of them is still missing, and you have to go find them.
All right. Yeah, the trailers made me excited back in the day because it kind of gave me the first Darksiders vibe.
Yes. Yep.
But I didn't know how that would translate to the finished game. I do remember there was a lot of you can skate on the sand dunes.
Yep. There's a lot of like that is one of the things you pick up right off the bat. The main way you traverse is literally by sand, which can actually be kind of frustrating at times because you'll start if you want to go uphill and you're sand surfing or whatever you want to call it. It can for some weird reason it'll shoot you off one side or the other, and you don't really have control. You have to jump to stop the surfing, and then you have better control of your character going up something. So
interesting.
It's still pretty. That's kind of a minor nitpick, but no, it's pretty enjoyable. There are, like I said, there are RPG elements, which are pretty fun. There is a skill tree, but it doesn't feel like a regular skill tree. Like none of them are plus 0.5% crit damage, yada yada yada, that you have to unlock and go down a certain path for. You do find anvils out in the world that you can you have this ability to, without trying to spoil too much, you get this ability to raise things up from under the sand. And only certain things, there'll be certain color markers basically telling you where these things are, and you can raise them up. Some of them are giant buildings, some of them are just little treasure chests. But these anvils that you find are built this way, and you have to raise them up, and that's where you kind of upgrade your item that is quote unquote gear gated.
Okay.
And how you upgrade it. There is one of the cooler things that I thought was if they've done this in another game before, I've never seen it, but the battle system is tier related. So you start, it's called momentum. So you start off with no momentum, and you have this bar, and the more times you attack, your momentum level grows. Now, the more momentum you have, it unlocks different abilities that you can set as you progress the game, but it also makes you more vulnerable to damage. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Yeah, but and at first I was like, man, what the heck is this? This is gonna why would I even want to keep attacking to get momentum? But then you find out that the abilities that you can learn to put in the different tiers, because there's a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3. So as your meter rises, when you get you have these levels that you hit where it unlocks, then you can do these abilities. And some of them are passive, some of them are actions you can do, but it sets those in motion as you go. So go ahead.
That sounds pretty neat. I mean, it sounds like a different spin on instead of waiting for cooldown timers or whatever, like a lot of combat systems, this seems a little more tactical.
Yeah, it really was fun. And the only other thing I guess that I don't enjoy about that is a lot of the they're called essence stones are what you set in your momentum tiers. You have to find and craft. And very few so far I found, and I just was able to hook up and use real quick. Most of them you have to find and craft, which means you have to go searching for materials in the world and stuff. And it is a kind of a big world, but it's not an open world. So your places to go hunting for materials are not plentiful. You know what I mean? So
the structure, if it's not open world, does it have dungeons like Zelda, or is it just kind of like a hub that you're exploring?
I feel so. Right now, it's just a hub I'm exploring. I feel like it's, and I did go back and read some of this, trying to figure out what the base game was. And I feel like I'm coming up on something that could be a dungeon, but I haven't gotten there yet. And one of the things that a lot of people complained about with the original game was that the opening, the start, took so long to get to the actual meat and potatoes of the game. And I'm thinking that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now.
Okay, and to think you're probably, maybe you're even in a truncated version of it too, you know?
Yeah, right. So
didn't Jacob review that one for us? Base game?
I don't know.
Come on, EIC. Aren't you supposed to know all this?
I mean, we're up to like 70 reviews for the year, and I've touched all of them, so it's hard to keep track of them. But glad you're digging that game, Kevin. It actually sounds really interesting, and I didn't, for whatever reason, didn't realize it was also on console. So
it is. So that's where I'm playing it. I'm playing it. The only reason I'm playing it is because someone couldn't play Baldur's Gate 3 on Sunday morning, so I needed to entertain myself with something. And it is on Game Pass. So no reason not to check it out. And the other thing is it is co-op. So me and the other person that we play Baldur's Gate 3 with could have jumped in, but I didn't realize that till later. So
Jacob did review it for us, Scott, and he gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm enjoying it, and since it's on Game Pass, there's really no reason not to check it out. So, but yeah,
I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, this is it's the Surge developers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I believe, if I read right, it's supposed to be something about like in the same universe. I'm not. Okay. Don't quote me on that. But I think I think when I was reading, trying to figure out what the original game was, that somehow they're supposed to be tied together, and I don't know. I have no idea how that's supposed to happen, but
I am intrigued. It's right in that AA wheelhouse. I like to spend time in.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? Catching up on anything?
Well, I'm playing a little more Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I am almost through the arena section, the tournament arc of this anime.
All right, man, that takes forever.
See, that's so I was dreading it because of the way you and many others have talked about it, but actually, I was quite enjoying it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just seeing the next, who the next group was going to be or whatever. I don't like how much they cycle through the same like 3 lines of dialogue before and after every match.
Yeah,
it's kind of frustrating, but it was fun seeing the new guys, and you get your little tough guy Yoshi companion there.
Yeah,
and he's pretty adorable. I wanted to ask, Kevin, have you played this game?
I have not. No.
Okay, Scott. The Yoshi, he asks you to give him a badass nickname or a name. What name did you give him?
Oh, I don't remember. Was there not a default choice?
There was no default choice. He just says pick something cool.
Oh,
I don't remember. I have to go fire it up. All right, actually,
I
can't.
Scott just named him Yoshi.
No,
I was just curious what Scott was going to pick as a cool badass name. But if he's just like Clark, his name's Clark. Yeah.
I mean, if the shoe fits,
right? Yeah, of course.
Probably called him.
What'd you name yours?
Pants. I named mine Marston, of course.
Oh yeah,
which is a cool name. So I chose well. I like him though. He's scrappy. He's always trying to pick fights with everybody, even though he's the size of their shoe.
Yeah.
So I enjoy him. I love that you can ride him, but he's struggling the whole time.
And like that's how you can actually. Yes.
Yeah, isn't that the point of Yoshi, is to be able to ride him?
Well, because he's like a baby Yoshi, so Mario's 5 times his size, but he's still riding him. It's ridiculous.
Okay. All right.
And I use it all the time because he runs faster if you're riding Yoshi. So it's just like,
and he still does, but I like he has that like glide jump that Yoshi's can do, right? But he doesn't have any vertical momentum to it because he just can't lift Mario up. It's a pretty good,
pretty cool
bit. Yeah.
Did you struggle with the level in the tree at all, where you had to rescue all the little dudes?
Oh yeah, it's kind of an obnoxious dungeon. Yeah,
like it just and it's one of those where if you take a break from it in the middle of it and then try to come back, it's like I can't remember where everything is. That was my least favorite dungeon in the game.
What I don't like about it, so you're like having little Pikmin guys following you around in that dungeon, right? But they can like fall off ledges. But there are some things where you'll do things the way that you're expected to. They're like, surprise, here's a fan, and it blows them all the way back down the tree. But there's no way you knew that was there unless you'd played before. So it's just like, well, now you're done. Now I just feel like you're wasting my time.
You're just being mean.
Yes, yeah, you're just being mean.
Yeah.
You maybe 15 minutes of this friggin' tree walking. Sound like Mario's fast in this paper world of his.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
There's no B button.
No, there's no B button. Then outside of that, I put tons of more time into Hunt Showdown 1896. But I just wanted to jump. I just needed to talk about it because I'm getting all right. My main strategy is no longer die. It is occasionally live.
You actually have me wanting to check this game out a little bit, and I'm probably worse at these kind of games than anybody you've ever met.
Well, I was supposed to play on Friday with Joel, and I wound up backing out because of I had some stuff come up.
Oh, you weren't able to make a planned game session with someone?
Yeah, for the same reason. For the same reason I couldn't play Baldur's Gate, I had to back out. But we both downloaded it, and before we were scheduled to hop on together, he hopped on and played by himself and texted me. He's like, "Dude, this game is really sweaty."
Yes, sweaty is a good word. Yeah.
So that made me a little nervous because that is not a Scott.
Like what?
Sweaty is like the newer term for full of players that are uber competitive.
Try hard.
That's not what I'm. Okay, I thought you just meant because it's tense. I've actually found the community to be very welcoming, though I am. Well, no, because you're playing on Xbox, or Joel would be. I don't know. Yeah, I found the community to be very nice. People are like showing you around, or pointing out like, "Hey, don't run through those bottles, dude. You're gonna get us all killed." That kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, it behooves them to give you those tips, right?
Well, I mean,
because
playing the original The Hunt Showdown, I enjoyed the hell out of that.
I played it with you a little bit. It didn't grab me quite as much as you did, but Zack was selling me on it last week so I did download it. Because the update is comes with the original version. So
right, and it looks prettier, and there's a new map and new monster. Yeah, man, I'm thoroughly grabbed. You would say.
Now, is it mostly, be honest here, okay?
I'm going to shoot straight with you. I know what you're going to ask, and I'm going to be honest.
You know what I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
Are you loving this because of the aesthetic, or is that what drew you into the game and you wound up loving it Western? After that? Yes.
Okay.
So I was intrigued because of the aesthetic, but what I didn't properly think about before playing was how these slow-paced guns actually make first-person shooter firefights fun as hell.
Oh, okay.
So that really is what... came for the yeehaws, stayed for the monsters and gunfights. Because the shooty bang bang. Because what happens is, right, somebody shoots you, and headshots are going to be hard to get, especially on console. But then they miss, right? So they automatically have to like lever their rifle or pull back a bolt or pull back the trigger or whatever. That buys you enough time to sprint around a corner, and now it's kind of like a cat and mouse game, and it immediately becomes this incredibly tense firefight of, okay, how can I trick this guy? Is there a way around the fence over there, or like whatever? Like it's all just survival instincts, I guess. And it's just
I would just go running right at him, just right out in the open, just trying to get around that corner and blast him in the face, and I'd get shot by all his teammates at the same time.
See, what I tried to do that in a match last night because like this team was sprinting at us, but they didn't see me, so I ran up behind them and I actually shotgunned their whole team, but I didn't, and it felt great. But what I didn't know was that there was a whole other team coming from the other direction, so I spotted them, but I was riding so high, Kevin, that I was like, oh, this is no problem. So I sprinted after the one I saw, and they got gunned down by his friends in the face about 16 times. So,
man, I don't know. You have me wanting to try this game, but I'm not, like I said, I'm that kind of guy. As long as I get teamed with, that's what I'm worried about, is I'm going to get teamed with someone that's like serious, and I am not serious in the least in these kind of games.
It seems like serious people don't play trios as much.
Okay.
They play duos or solos.
Duos or quads.
Yeah. Well, solo. There's no quads, just duos or solos. But trios is kind of like everybody knows we're playing a little more casually here, I think, because there's so many more revives you get as a team of 3 compared to 2 or what have you. Yeah, but
that's too bad we can't play together.
Well, yeah, they invite. There's no cross invite system very well. Well, you know what, man? If it goes on sale on Xbox, I'll pick it up.
Really?
I'll be there to play with.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like having a scheduled time on a certain day or something.
No, shut up.
Because the game is crossplay, but it apparently hasn't had for years a system where if you're on PlayStation, you can invite somebody from Xbox.
Oh, that's weird.
You can hit matchmake at the same time on the same server, and sometimes get matched up together. Apparently,
well, it's a great system.
They just it's a low priority on their list of fixes or whatever.
Yeah,
It's so stupid.
yeah.
Just if it doesn't feel like it would be that complicated. But I'm not a programmer.
That's a word I
Diablo
don't
4
know
can
anything
do it.
about. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's absurd. But everyone I know plays on Xbox, so I guess I just gotta wait for a nice Xbox sale on Hunt Showdown.
So I can play it with you once and then realize I'm terrible at it and
well,
then abandon you.
and I won't have to care about my stats getting ruined, so it'd be even better.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It can be like your dummy account. Like this is my just mess around doesn't matter account,
There
right?
you go.
CB, what about you, man? You been catching up on anything?
I did finally start playing RoboCop Rogue City.
Finally.
Yeah.
Now this is a CB game.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
I'm sure you can guess what the very first achievement I got was.
Did you shoot him in the?
Dude, it's been a year since I played it. I don't remember.
Kevin knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So it's all about them genitals.
Yep.
Oh, shooting somebody in the nuts?
Yep. First
Yeah, I
first
didn't
bad
remember
guy.
that was an
Boom,
achievement.
and it's like achievement. I'm like, yes.
He just put the game away. He's like, I'm completely satisfied now.
Oh my
on top
god!
of
Like
this.
that game is so much dumb fun for a rusher like me, because I'm just like run into the crowd, pick up somebody, and just start smacking everybody around you with the person you picked up. I'm like, this is so much dumb fun.
I mean, that's the name of the game. You're literally a tank.
Well,
Like,
how much can you rush it though? You're a tank. You're walking everywhere.
He can move fairly quick.
All right.
Or the fact that I'm like, I'm going to pick up this computer monitor and beat you to death with it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's, oh my God. I so regret not playing it sooner, because it's just good, dumb fun. And the fact that it's got the OCP like commercials in it. Oh,
yeah.
Love it. So yeah,
Maybe want to go back and watch the movie again.
That's part of the reason I played it, because I did watch the first one not that long ago.
Oh.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, this is good. Don't watch RoboCop 3. It's still terrible. But 1 and 2 were great.
Yeah.
That was written by Frank Miller, right? The third one?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. No, I think I don't doubt it.
Plus the second one, when you see Red is the bad guy.
Is that the second one?
First one.
Red, the guy that plays Red for me, he's the bad guy in the first one.
Yeah.
Kurtwood Smith
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Red. He's always gonna be
infamously spits on the police report in the cop station towards the beginning of the movie.
Oh, I thought you
That
were
was
going to say infamously voiced the judge during Green Lantern John Stewart's trial in the Justice League animated series. I thought that's what
That's
you were gonna
exactly what I was thinking.
that's
You stole the
probably
word
what I'm just
right
going
out
to
of my
say,
mouth.
See, I knew where you were going with it, Scott.
Yeah. It would take me a while to get there, but I was getting there. For me, I caught up on some written reviews this week, and I wrote a review for Galactic Glitch, which made me want to jump back into that game, and that game is so much fun, dude. That is a great Steam Deck game. It is. I actually mentioned it in my review that I feel like each year I'm looking for that one, roguelike. Like last year was Ember Knights. Just freaking love that game. Vampire Survivors the year before that. And I feel like Galactic Glitch is the one for this year. That game is so slick, and they keep updating it. I didn't even realize I was still in early access. I thought I had the full game because I have, there's just so much to do. And it's just such a good twist on the twin stick shooter formula. So if you guys have not played that one, it's like $15, I think, for the early access version. And it's one of the best feeling games I've played on the Steam Deck in terms of slickness. Like everything just feels exactly the way it's supposed to, and it's got this momentum. It's got this physics based bit to it. Like each arena is like a bubble, so the outside is like elastic, and you can actually like use that to your advantage to like get around the enemies and kind of slingshot around, and then the weapons are really cool. I picked up a weapon on my last run where I'm used to firing at enemies. Like fire either bullets or shotgun type stuff, and the weapon I got was just this damage-inducing energy shield that surrounds me. So the only way you can attack somebody is by being close to them, But that's all you have to do, and it's a complete circle around you. So it's like a completely different tactic, and it's great. Because it's not like a run-based deal where you have to get whatever weapons you get along the way. you choose your weapon loadout before you start a run. And, the currency that you earn, you keep unlocking more and more weapons. And so you can just choose any combination of primary and secondary weapon that you want. It's just it's a fun thing to do, but it still has the run-based stuff in it as well.
That's what I was going to ask. So if you start with your own weapons, what do you get during a run other than the cash?
There are upgrades where there are 4 different types of upgrades, and they're all color-coded. And you get one that might be like, okay, when I enter a room now, I automatically fire off heat-seeking missiles towards the enemies. Or anytime enemies appear, it does these heat-seeking missiles. And then part of the RBR stuff is each individual upgrade has a specific colored microchip that you have to attach to it to upgrade, and you find those randomly. So when you choose which upgrade you want to do, you look at which available chips you have in your stockpile, and then, I should probably go for the one that I've got some of those chip colors already because I might not get the ones for this other upgrade. So it's kind of a push and pull, which is really kind of a clever way to do it because you could get really lucky or you could get really screwed. I mean, you're still going to have your primary and main weapons and all that kind of good stuff. And plus the game also has, and I mentioned this when I talked about it originally, you have the ability to grab onto small rocks and just like hurl them at the enemies, which I don't use a ton because I just want to shoot. You know what I mean? Why am I going to take this extra effort? But some of the upgrades are geared towards that. So you get other upgrades that allow you to pick up bigger rocks. And then, okay, now the rocks do 30% more damage when you throw them. So you're actually doing more damage and you're kind of doing that at the same time. But the weird thing is that those buttons are on the right triggers on the Steam Deck. So your primary fire is on the right trigger. And then your I got to remember where everything is. And then your secondary weapon is on the bumper. But then in order to grab rocks, it's on the left trigger. So to twin stick shoot, hold the fire button and grab a rock and aim it is just awkward. Yeah. You would get good at it obviously, but it's there's so much room to play to your play style. And they upgraded the soundtrack, which is something that I don't usually see in an early access.
That's pretty cool.
It's now a much more heart-pounding techno style soundtrack that is just really good. So Galactic Glitch. I hope that comes to console because that game is great. And then the PR rep that sent me this game, every game they send me are ones that I love. Remember that Mini Shoot Adventures game?
Oh yeah,
yeah, of course.
That I played the Zelda twin stick shooter. They sent me that one. I'm really digging these. Whatever they send me, I get really excited whenever I get a press release for them. So
they got your number, man.
I know, right? Highly recommend it. And they're just super nice guys. They're one of those reps that actually respond when I send them the coverage, and they're very appreciative, and I feel like I'm getting to know them. I just love that. That's my favorite part of the gig. So anyway, that's what we've been playing. Let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Before we talk about the news, I want to remind everybody about the Yetee. That is THEYETEE. It is an online store where you can purchase awesome T-shirts that only have great designs on them. They're really great quality. Kevin can attest to them. I believe he's purchased a couple of them himself. Which one did you get, Kevin?
I've gotten a few of them. A couple of Sonic-related ones, obviously. One of my favorite tank tops is one of the Sonic tank tops I got from there. It's real quality. It's not like someone just printed it out on their Cricut and slapped it on an eBay store. It's they really are good quality, and they're comfy too.
Guilty. Yeah, they are comfy. I wore the Zelda one that I have. It's a dark link. It's red and everything. When I went to a dinner with my dad and my wife, my dad likes to take pictures whenever we get together. So we're taking a family photo, and I'm wearing this shirt, and my wife is like, "Can you not wear a heavy metal T-shirt?" And for the next time we do one of these, it's Zelda. But yeah, you're not kidding. They are super comfy, and the fun part about it is that most are they have daily shirts that are only available for 24 hours. So I follow them on Twitter. I get the alerts to see which new ones pop up each day, which is probably a bad thing, because I just want to keep buying every shirt that comes across. Zach, I've shared a couple with you as well.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm glad you have the alerts because one day maybe they might do a Red Dead shirt, something like that, and then I'll want that information. You're supposed to use our connections, right, Scott? And put a bug in his ear for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. But yeah, if you want to get more information on those or see what's available, head over to theyetee.com, TheYetee.com. He's a really great dude that puts that together. His name is Mike.
Mike.
Let's go on and
People would buy
Mike.
Red Dead shirts. I'm just saying.
yeah. We got some new trailers, a couple that were provided by one of our listeners. Michael Bonovich posted a trailer for, not making this up, a crossover between Dave the Diver, Balatro, Potion Craft, and MXM Tune, which I have no idea what that is, but that's there. And also Maui the Shapeshifter, which is a gear-gated 2D game based on Maui, not like... It is like Moana, but it's not the Disney version of Maui.
Right, it's the actual mythological version.
Yes. Also, Kong Survivor Instinct, which is not at all what I thought it was when I clicked on that link. And Kill Knight, which is a twin stick shooter. It's a Scott game.
Yes,
It
definitely looks like one. Yeah,
very much a Scott game. But those are some really great trailers. Nintendo was in the news this week. They unveiled their upcoming. Actually, it was last week. We missed this one, but I had to mention it. They unveiled their upcoming museum in Japan. And they also had their latest Direct, which included a partner showcase in Indie World. Valve officially announced a new multiplayer game. And what do you know? Concord isn't doing very well. CB, it's been a minute, man. I'm going to let you take first crack. What story do you want to talk about?
The fact that Valve still can't make the game we want.
All right.
So, Valve's hopping into the multiplayer market with a game called Deadlock. So far, very little information on it. There's like this very blank landing page. This just disheartens me, man. Like,
shouldn't it hearten you? I mean, Valve, they're always putting out bangers, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time Valve put out a bad game?
They're gonna make Deadlock and then Deadlock 2 and then nothing for
no 3
years.
Yeah.
And move on.
God, like.
So just out of curiosity, like, is there like what upsets you about this? Is it just because it's not a something 3, or is it this game
something
itself?
else? I'm gonna be really disappointed if this is a multiplayer game set in the Half-Life universe because it's not what we all want. I'm really getting tired of multiplayer games.
I know 63,000 people at least want it.
So yeah.
Well, they're like previewing it. I mean,
Right.
if you got approached and said, "Hey, Valve is doing this new game. You wanna check it out?"
Yeah,
You're gonna say yes.
You're gonna say yes
Right.
because you're hoping that it's tied to something else,
Yeah.
like the
It-
Aperture
it
Desk
was really
Job, and
It was really funny. I wish that people could have been privy to the text conversation between me and CB and Zack this week because we were talking about what we're going to put on the format for games to play, and Zack said, "Well, CB, why don't you just bite the bullet and play Concord?" And he's like, "I just might do that," and I kind of went, "Huh?"
and then what was it like 2 minutes later? Never mind.
yeah. He watched one trailer and he was like, "Oh nope, what was that? Nope."
Yeah,
Nope. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a whole lot of
that
nope.
genre is definitely. Well, you know what? That's a great
Well,
segue. Why don't we just
Okay,
talk about
hang on.
that?
I'm gonna squash this right now. I do like certain multiplayer games. The
Uh-huh.
problem is I prefer great single player stories.
Mhm.
Sure.
And all we keep making in this day and age is these great multiplayers and okay stories. Like,
Well,
I'm just kind of
Deadlock is like a third-person shooter MOBA hybrid. I think that sounds interesting. I haven't played that before. I'll try that out.
Isn't that what I thought you played a game like that? What's that space one that you always played?
Warframe?
Warframe. Thank you.
I don't think
Isn't that
that's
a-
not a
It's not a MOBA?
No.
no.
I misunderstood
MOBA is
this.
like League of
Smite.
Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smite, yeah. Yeah, it's not Warframe. Warframe is just like a...
I played a
third-person
lot
shooter.
of Smite and it got old.
Yeah, I played a decent amount of Smite as well.
And that's the problem.
Maybe
Is
that's
I,
what I
like,
was thinking of.
MOBAs have
I-
never been my thing.
I just need more single player in my life. Not like, hey, this great developer's making a multiplayer, or this other game where it's nothing but microtransactions and hatred.
Well, CB, it turns out you're not alone because Concord isn't doing very well.
Oh, surprise! Called that one.
Yeah.
Doesn't this seem like a mistake? Like these numbers?
No,
There's no
not at
way
all.
they could be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the new game Firewalk Games, right? PlayStation's new studio. It's a first-party release. All the big PlayStation bucks behind it. It peaked at 697 concurrents on Steam.
Yeah.
But to be fair, that's Steam. That's
Yeah.
not, we don't know the PlayStation
Of
numbers.
course, yeah, we never will, right? Because they don't share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Speaking
may
of
be a
which, why
reason why
don't they
those
share.
there may be a reason why those numbers are so low on Steam.
Because nobody wants to play the game, CB. It's not hard to figure out.
No, it's not only that.
Wukong
There-
came out like the same week.
But there's also a lot of people that are still mad, like, oh, even though you aren't on PlayStation, you have to have a PlayStation account to play our games.
Oh, do you have to for this?
Yeah.
I don't know about this one, but
Oh.
there's still a lot of people that are bitter about it. The last one.
No, you do. But you also have to, for Grand Theft Auto on Steam, have to sign into the Rockstar account. And people seem to be able to do that by the hundreds of thousands. So people are able to get over it, is what I'm saying. They're just not going to do that for
Do you
it.
think it's just
for
because
Concord.
it's PlayStation or because it's still somewhat fresh?
Well, I do think PlayStation's got a worse taste, right? Because of the way they try to do it with Helldivers, where they let you in first and then try to cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's made the notoriously, what's the word? Let's say passionate PC player base have their pitchforks out for PlayStation because of that. Which I think is justified for Helldivers, no doubt.
Okay.
But there are just so many other publishers that also require you to sign into something. So
Mhm.
I'm saying if the game is good enough, people are not going to care, is the point I'm making.
Right.
I'm
okay.
looking at these numbers, and it just makes me chuckle, the fact that it's like peaked at 697 concurrent players. Lord of the Rings Gollum had more.
Yeah, that's what I had to add to the format. Lord of the Rings.
I was like,
Gollum
that's so bad.
had 758. One of the worst games made in the past several years. By all accounts, Concord is actually fun when you play it.
I've heard good things about it. Like everyone says, it's like a competent shooter for it, or a game for its genre. Like it just feels too
Okay.
little, too late.
Competent isn't good enough, though.
Yeah,
right?
like that. I was gonna say the exact. You're like, it's a competent shooter. I'm like, yeah, but it's not a great shooter.
I've heard people playing it, but I've never heard anybody who's playing it be like, "It's great." They're always like, "Yeah, it's good. It's solid."
So for anybody that didn't know, what has Firewalk done before this? Why is that a big deal?
Nothing. This is their debut.
This is okay.
This is some the studio was founded by a lot of first person shooter talent, like people at Bungie and Activision and stuff like that. So they had a strong pedigree, and what interested me before we saw the unveiling was that PlayStation saw something in the studio and this project, in particular, that they're like, we're going to buy this studio. And they've never done that before, right? They had never bought a studio sight unseen in quite such a way.
Okay.
They've done it a couple times since then, right? But yeah,
Right.
so I was like, something's going on here with Concord, something special. And they put out their first trailer, and you're like, this looks utterly terrible. This looks bafflingly bad.
So in
And-
3 weeks, they're gonna fold half the company into SIE and
Well,
claim they're gonna make another game and that we're never gonna see.
I'm sure they'll put it on PlayStation Plus Extra before they kill it, but it's not looking
I don't know,
good.
man. When they first showed this trailer, what was it? Which event was it when they first showed it? Like
Oh
they
my God, I don't
opened the
remember.
presentation with it
Right.
a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
And it started, and I was like, "Oh, this looks kind of fun. It's got this Guardians of the Galaxy vibe to it, but with new characters." And then it was a hero shooter, and I was just done. I mean, I'm happy for people that like these kinds of games, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I was hoping a story-based kind of thing, and that's not what it was.
I'm happy for all 697 of them as well.
And for a point, you can sort the PlayStation Store by best selling. So I did that for launch day of Concord, and it was somewhere in the 50s by my count.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that's not good
Yep,
either.
That's not. Nope.
Especially for a first party release. So I mean, it might have gone up since then. It seems unlikely. Launch day is usually your best day.
Right.
But it's not like I might have checked it out just out of curiosity because it's PlayStation Studios and I love PlayStation, but it's not $40 worth of curiosity, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And it also might help if the art style was interesting at all, but all these characters look so friggin' lame.
Yeah.
They all look like, Wish.com Marvel designs. Timu. I'm sorry, is that where the action's at now?
Timu is the new one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Timu Gardens.
I thought some of these comparisons were interesting, though. Again, 697 players. That doesn't seem possible.
Right.
Like even terrible games get, 10,000 or something. You know what I mean? Like, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League peaked at 13, almost 13,500.
See, that one's interesting, right? Because it had a similar reputation before release, where everyone wanted the game to fail, and it was.
But that also has
but you also have the Marvel fan base.
licensing.
I understand. You got the DC
DC
license,
isn't it?
DC, yeah.
But
And it was $30 more. But
we
anyway.
knew, we all knew Suicide Squad was going to fail, and it still hit that number.
Well, everybody but Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
David Zaslav thought it was going to be a hit.
No, that's just because he lives in a
Fantasy land.
yeah.
And Redfall peaked at 6,124. We all remember the reaction to that game.
Yeah.
When Redfall is almost 10% better.
And that game was, by all accounts, bad.
Yeah.
That game
I
was bad.
heard that game was broken. I didn't play it, but I heard that game just straight up didn't work
Right.
at launch. So, but to be fair, and I mentioned this a little while ago, Black Myth Wukong also released this week, and that game had peaked at 2.4 million.
Yeah.
People really miss Elden Ring.
CB, you should be so happy, right? Like, here's a list of multiplayer games that didn't do well, and then you got a single player adventure, Black Myth Wukong, 2.4 million. The people are speaking.
But if only the studios would listen.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
They can't afford not to now, right?
Multiplayer
No,
multiplayer overall has been people have been calling for it less and less, but they're just we're just going to keep pumping them.
Yeah.
I mean, when one lands, it really lands. You know what I mean? I don't know who's playing Apex anymore, but people are still, playing Warzone and still playing. Why can't I think of it? Fortnite. I mean, those games are still huge. Just because we don't like multiplayer games as much as most people, there's still a huge market for multiplayer games. I think they're just relying on people getting tired of the one they're playing, and wanting to move on to another one.
But it doesn't seem like it ever works, right? Like all these,
so
many games come along, and you're trying to tear people away from the game they've invested hundreds or thousands of hours into,
right?
And potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right,
into.
That's true. Yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem with the Call of Duty fan base, the Fortnite fan base, is because they've invested so much time in it. It's really hard to walk away.
Well,
but then you have Call of Duty coming out, Black Ops 6, right? I feel like people, number one, that's going to be on Game Pass, so it's not going to be an extra cost for people on Xbox. But also, if you're invested in Call of Duty, it's still Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Even though you're not putting money into the same game.
Well, yeah, it's not like it changes a ton. It's a reskin with new weapons.
I think that's a little.
Yeah, they play pretty differently, man.
Yeah.
The mechanics at its core are still the same.
Right, but my point is that anything that you've invested
Madden
in
every year is a completely new game.
No,
don't lie to me. It's the same. It's the same
Madden
idea.
Call of Duty is made by different studios, and they're made on 3-year cycles. They feel differently. So
they do, but you have the people
don't
I
make
love
me the
zombies.
Call of Duty defender. Don't turn me into that guy.
But
my point is that if you've invested into a previous Call of Duty, whatever you purchased on that is not going to carry over, but people don't care because it's still Call of Duty.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
But again, it's not like Call of Duty is going from a first person to a third person to a 3/4. It's the same core mechanic.
Right.
I'm a first person shooter with new guns. Are they adding outside of Infinite Warfare? It's are we adding gravity boots and 0G and
omnidirectional movement in Black Ops 6, CB? It's a game changer.
Sure.
They sure leaned in on that, didn't they?
Yeah, they keep mentioning it every marketing beat.
Yeah,
which is I guess is nice. But yeah,
going back to the PlayStation 2 era Call of Duty, it's a first-person shooter with guns. They're the bad guy. I'm the good guy. Shoot them. It's not like something has radically changed.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about most games right now, man.
But the story,
Like, what is radically changed?
from a multiplayer standpoint? Like every time somebody goes nuts, like they brought back Nuketown. Yeah, cool, because you had that map memorized because you put thousands of hours in it. Yeah, cool. It's back.
I don't even know what argument we're having anymore. To be
I was
honest,
going to say, I think
really-
I think you guys are like arguing on Invisible Man between the both of you or something. I don't.
But
thank God Kevin's here. He's reeling us back in.
Well, let's go ahead and move on. Zach, what do you want to talk about?
Oh well, Concord's what I wanted to talk about. I transitioned us to that. Let's see what Kevin wants to discuss.
All right.
I mean, I'm a Sega guy, but I do think it's quite cool that Nintendo's doing their whole museum thing in Japan. I wish it was something we could do over here, but I mean, at least it's a place I can visit if I ever acquire the means. But yeah, it opens October 2nd in Kyoto. And the bigger thing that I think is the coolest point out of all of this is it goes all the way back to 1889, when they were before video games were even a dream on the wind. Back when they were playing cards. So that tells me it's not just going to appeal to just video game fanatics. It's an actual history piece. So, which is what a museum should be. But I mean, when you hear of Nintendo opening a museum, you don't think history right away. You're thinking I'm going to learn about the Marios and the Zeldas and all that fun stuff. So I do think it's really cool they're doing all that.
I want to go.
I wish we had one here.
Yeah,
I want to go for.
We could start a GoFundMe or whatever. Yeah,
For the four of us to go to Kyoto.
A Tokyo Game Show. It's a thing, man. Just saying.
Yeah.
I know I would love to go with Kevin because we could go to this and we could also go to Sega's headquarters.
Yeah. Yep.
I am wildly curious though with Nintendo's museum. Are they going to mention their hotel chain?
I heard about that on a video recently. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. I'm really curious.
I don't think I know about that. I don't know if I want to know about that.
Is it a love hotel chain?
They do have
exactly
a
what
love
you think it
hotel
is.
chain.
Is it really?
Wow. Do you have the so you guys know I'm getting married in October, but I'm having a honeymoon in Japan in November. So what's the address for the hotels?
I will send it to you. While you're over there,
Are you serious? By the way,
Are you
really going on a
Are you
honeymoon
really
to
going
Japan?
to Japan?
I am really going to Japan. Yes, the flights are booked.
You should.
I was going to say it opens on the 2nd.
Because I know everything's a lottery system in Japan where like you get your name gets entered in a drawing and then you can buy the tickets right if you're chosen. But I didn't think about it until this very conversation that I could absolutely do that for these tickets, couldn't I?
Yeah, dude.
All right. Dude.
I would love to see some pictures, man. I mean, you can see stuff on there, but it's not the same as when
Is when
it's
your
somebody
buddy
you
sees
know
it
in front of a giant Wii controller. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I'm just hugging a Wii controller.
While you're over there, there's so many things you could be looking for, like a Panasonic Q.
Well, I'll be too busy shaking Shigeru Miyamoto's hand, CP. I don't even know what this Panasonic is.
I don't think he's going to actually be there. Like,
Okay, let
he's
me-
not going
hey,
on all
how
the
about-
tours.
No,
How about you let me
You were
dream? How
absolutely
about that?
wrong. The first 10 tours are done by him.
I don't think he's going to make the first 10 tours.
That's true.
Who knows?
Oh yeah, that would be, man. That's a bucket list item, by the way, is just to shake that dude's hand.
Yeah,
because he's he's getting up there. That's gonna be man. I want to shake that dude's hand before
you got to get past the secret
before
service
something
first.
bad happens. Yeah, right. Yeah, I was in the building when he was in the. I was in the same building as him once. Remember that, Zach? Or no, that was the year before you. He was on stage for the. Huh? No. It wasn't that. It was at E3. I was in the building for the Ubisoft press conference when they announced the Rabbids game on Switch, and he was on stage. I wasn't in the auditorium. It was so weird. They let me into the building. I'm like, great, I'm going to go see this press conference, and then they put me in a side room to watch it on the TV.
Oh,
That's pretty weird.
Yeah, like I could have done this in my hotel room or whatever, but so I got to say I was in the same building as Shigeru Miyamoto. But
well, there you go. That's more than most people.
Right.
Yeah.
I shake Sam Lake's hand twice, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I remember you really holding back, man. I could feel it.
Just restraining my energy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about Nintendo as well. with the direct in just a second, but before we do, I gotta mention this trailer that Zack shared with me for Kong Survivor Instinct.
Hell yeah, dude! This game looks cool
Dude,
as hell.
You sent me the link and I didn't watch it right away. I was like, oh, it's gonna be another Kong game, where you're Kong going around wreaking havoc and fighting other,
like that game last year that was terrible.
Yeah, and then you click the link, and it is a gear-gated 2D game where you're trying to save your daughter amidst all the chaos of Kong stuff. And holy cow, does it look great.
I was really surprised. It kind of it gave me some Shadow Complex energy in the way the character is moving and the way things looked. But it's just like, you're doing your little gear-gated adventure, and all of a sudden Kong smashing into a kaiju behind you. It's just what a cool way to use the license.
Yeah.
Right.
Why did it take so long to make that happen?
It's just
I don't
very
know.
Clever idea. Oh,
For
so
some
he's
reason.
mad about it.
Well, no, I'm not mad about it. I'm just, for some reason, like, nobody wants to touch kaiju-based games.
It's not multiplayer.
Or when we do, it's... No, I'm gonna play this, but nobody wants to touch kaiju-based games. Like, for some reason, we've never had a Godzilla. Like, I'm gonna smash around and destroy things, or a decent Ultraman game, or Gamera.
I would counter with kaiju. I don't think we're really a mainstream hit over here until Godzilla versus Kong, maybe.
No,
Where like it really was like something that most people were into. Because now anybody I talk to is into Godzilla or Kong, but it wasn't that way 5 or 10 years ago. CB, you hang out with nerd. I don't know.
I don't know, man. That banger in 1998 was pretty good.
I will punch you right in the mouth. You shut up.
Yeah, dude.
Is that the one with Matthew Broderick?
TriStar is not Godzilla.
Yes.
You shut up.
And and Jean Reno, of course.
I kind of like that movie.
Oh God, you would.
I did.
I had the soundtrack where Puff Daddy did a version
the soundtrack
of Kashmir.
The soundtrack is the only thing good about that.
And then it had Brain Stew on it, but from Green Day. Like, it's just such a weird mix-up of songs. But anyway, Kong Survivor Instinct, that's like weirdly my most anticipated game.
I'm gonna play it.
I'm
just curious where it fits into the timeline.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's a licensed game.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw it was the 2D gear gated, I was kind of, I don't know why, but I'm just kind of burned out of those right now. But then, like you said,
that is fair.
But then, like you said, you see Godzilla just take on whatever the hell that thing was behind you in the scenes. And
CB,
Kong.
he meant Kong. You don't have to.
I said, sorry, we were on the Godzilla stuff, so my brain went. Yeah,
I was just like,
so let me go. Let me go.
He was. You see that CB was steaming up.
So, but then Kong comes in and he takes out that giant spider-looking thing behind you, and I was like just watching that all happen behind you as your character is still trying to traverse the chaos was like that was actually really cool. Like, I could get behind this now.
And there's a shot at the end where, like, you just see, like, the upper part of, like, his jaw, like, kind of come on the top of the screen, and then he enters into frame, and, like, that is rad. I want to see more of that. I just, I'm all
again,
about it. So.
The spider's name is Scylla.
Okay.
I care.
I didn't mean to insult your girlfriend. I'm sorry.
I care.
All right, let's move on to Nintendo's Direct. We actually took place today. I didn't even know this was happening. I somehow missed it. And all of a sudden I get a text from Zack. He's like really excited about everything that was announced in here. I wasn't as blown away as you were, but I don't even know if I have everything in order that they did it because I didn't watch it live. But I think it's neat that Tetris Forever is a thing. They keep like bringing Tetris back, and they're doing it kind of like in a history lesson kind of way.
Yeah, it's the same people that did the making of Karateka, Digital Eclipse.
I didn't realize it was the same, so that's awesome. So that's one. They even have like the original. Like I didn't even know that's what the original looked like until I saw the movie, the Tetris movie, where it was just like brackets, from your keyboard that were each of the individual pieces of a Tetramino. I thought that, and so you can play that version of it. What do you guys think?
I think it sounds pretty cool, man. I like these history lesson games, little museum style things.
Right.
I would never proclaim to be a big Tetris fan. Of course, everybody likes Tetris, but after seeing that movie, which I just thought was great, I'm down for more Tetris history information.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play. I like Tetris, so.
And they announced that the Nintendo version of Tetris is going to come on Switch Online.
How that took
Switch.
that long blows my mind.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The crazy thing was to me when I saw that trailer is they were showing gameplay and the music. Holy cow, did that bring back some memories of my childhood? Because I remember trying to go to sleep at night and my parents were downstairs playing that and I could hear it from my bedroom for all hours of the night. That music is burned into my brain like you would not believe. Not that one. That's the Game Boy one.
It's
Talking
so
about
good.
the it's good, but the Nintendo version
the
has
10
its
gen
own
version.
No. The actual Gray Cart one.
Oh, okay,
The 10 gen one was actually I think a better game
it is.
because it had multiplayer mixed in with it. But anyway, so Kevin, what grabbed you so much? Because I know you really like this one as well.
Actually, some things that I don't see on your list here.
Oh, did I not get everything?
Unless I'm blind, which I might be. I've been that before. But
You probably are.
the Romancing Saga games being remade.
Oh, okay.
Like they are straight up remakes. And
Romancing the Kingdom, is that?
no, it's the Romancing
talking
Saga games. I don't remember what their actual names. They were Romancing Saga 1
Romancing
and 2.
Saga.
Yeah,
I think it's
or
1, 2, and then the third one had like a subtext line.
Yeah, but they were. I never got to play them. I just didn't have access to them or the time. And man, step back for a bit. This Nintendo Direct was a turn-based guy's wet dream.
Oh yeah, is that what it is?
I mean, yeah, that's what Romancing Saga is. And like we go down the list and like Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 all getting the HD remaster stuff and so on.
We
and
knew
so
about
forth.
that, right?
I mean, we knew about it, but now it's being announced like more thorough. We have a release date when they're planning on it. That and what is the game that I don't know.
Suikoden?
Suikoden's one of them, and then the game that was on iPhone only is just being released as Zack played for a while. I can't remember what it was actually called.
Was it the one that had the visuals were actually like real props or whatever?
Yes.
Is that the one you're?
The diorama ones.
Yeah.
That's going to irk the crap out of me.
I don't know how I missed it. I apologize. I thought I got them all.
That's okay.
Zach, can you tell us what the name of that game is that used the dioramas?
It was on the iPhone for. Yes,
Fantasia Neo Dimension.
Yes,
There we go.
like that got a release date and all that fun stuff, and that looks. I really can't wait for that because I played it a little bit on the iPhone, but I struggle with games on my phone. Like if it's a serious RPG, I really struggle getting into it and hanging on to it. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that too. But like I said, there's so many of these that and speaking of multiplayer games, the multiplayer Mario and Luigi RPG, like Mario and Luigi, what was it called? The
Brothership.
Brothership.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did they show more of that in this?
Yep.
I missed that too.
Yep.
Man, I picked a bad article to go to try to find everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
I miss that as well, I suppose.
There was a lot that got dumped.
There was a lot. But yeah, I did not know that was going to be a 2-player game. And
I didn't either.
So, yeah, there's 2 players. It didn't say. I think it said it was just local co-op. But yeah, a 2-player turn-based RPG with Mario and Luigi, where you have to like help each other traverse the actual landscape, and then obviously you're helping each other in the combats too. So this was, like I said, this was a turn-based guy's wet dream.
The Mario and Luigi game, I'm getting more and more excited for because you're like, it's local, and I'm like, tell me more. I get to play as the Mario brothers locally with a friend and do things. But screw the rest of this list. Give me that.
I was when that popped up at the last Direct. I think it was the beginning of the summer. I assumed it was a remake of one of the others, and it was a brand new game, and I got super stoked. So, did they show any more Echoes of Wisdom or at all on this one?
No.
I don't
Well, that's
remember
just-
that, no.
That's just around the corner anyway, right?
Yeah, it's what, September, the next
Yeah.
month. What about? Oh, speaking of, I talked to my old boss about that because her daughter is a massive Zelda fan, and I texted her about something, and she said that she and her daughter and her friend both like are having a sleepover that weekend that game comes out. They're going to plan on playing it together. Like, oh, I just think that's cute. That they,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
She's like,
And
she's
I-
like 6 or 7.
And forgive me, but they did actually show some of that. They went over what her abilities are going to be, since she won't
Kevin,
be
I
using
think
a
you
sword.
might have watched the last direct.
Are you sure?
I think so as well, because
Because there definitely wasn't any kind of
and they did talk about Fantasian in that direct as well.
there was no
I mean,
lengthy Echoes of Wisdom coverage. I feel really
Okay.
awkward right now saying this.
So do I too, but that's okay. But I could have swore I just hit the link that I was sent, but maybe I did something different. I've screwed up before.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's not Sega.
I could see how you'd be
didn't-
confused.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you remember any of this other stuff on the list? You know, like the Tetris collection. Maybe you watched both. I don't know. Maybe you went crazy.
I honestly no.
You
Now
watched the
that I
June one, didn't you?
look,
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
I did watch
recognize
the
any of
Dragon
these.
Quest 3. I was gonna say
That was
no.
announced at that one.
Okay.
Uh oh.
Well, see, like I was
Yeah, we
like,
might have
I
to
don't
cut this and
remember
just-
any of the Saga games being talked about.
Then I must have been, like I said, I could swear I hit what I was sent. But,
No, it's all
I
good,
remember
man.
seeing Metal Slug Tactics and stuff, but maybe not.
That was shown there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were a lot of repeats. Did we send you a link today or?
I thought
sorry.
that, like I said, I thought that's what I'd clicked on, but I might not have. I might have hit something else too. It's okay.
It's all good, man. No worries. Let's see what got Zach so excited.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing I was excited about, Scott, you didn't put on the list. So
Tails.
Oh.
the Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky, the first. We're getting a full remake of Trails in the Sky 1, baby.
But didn't you play that recently though?
Yeah, I played that crummy PSP version, Scott. This is a
Oh,
real
okay.
game now. Full
it's funny
3D.
'cause that was the first thing that I saw that I was like, Zach's gonna be excited about that.
Dude, well, the utter disrespect of they just showed like 5 seconds of it during a montage. That's how you announce this exciting electric project? Unbelievable. Joshua and Estelle, look at those two lovebirds up there. They're just, they're just chilling. They're doing their thing. They're doing their bracer training. This is exciting for a multitude of reasons. One, first and foremost, now more people could easily get into Trails because this is where the story begins. This is the first game, in the chronology. You don't have to. You can play it on PC, of course. But if you're a console player, you are just SOL. And but now, no longer. Now you can play it on the Switch, and I presume other consoles. This was very exciting. I already thought the Direct was good, but this, come on, man, this got my blood
Okay.
flowing. No,
I was gonna say I just don't know because I'm in the middle of playing the first one. So do I need to stop playing this one, or and wait for this to come out, or do I go complete this real quick and then play through this again?
well that's certainly my plan. Having just recently played Sky, I'm absolutely going to play this remake. So it's up to you. I know you're a big Grandia fan, right? And there's some similarities.
There is, yeah.
So,
Very good game.
It'll be fresh in your mind so you can pick like all the changes.
Yeah, there we go. We could just pretend like we were lifelong fans, and now we're really mad. I don't know. If I were you, I feel like I would finish what you're doing until you get to the cliffhanger, and then just wait for the inevitable Sky 2 remake that'll probably come out next year too, and then just
yeah.
and then just jump into that. It'll feel like they evolved into new forms. Yeah, no, I think you're good to roll. Really, Kevin. Finish what you're playing, so we can talk about it.
I shall.
That's really it's all just that's what Zach wants.
Selfishly. I need someone to chat. I also thought it was really cool, Scott, that they announced and released the Castlevania DS collection in this event.
Yeah, those are ones I've not played.
Because
And I'd like to say I'm excited about that, but I bought the other one when it was on sale, and I played about 3 hours of it and never went back to it, not because it was bad. Just
but were
a lot of
those
stuff going on.
were those games you had already played?
No, a little bit. Like I
Okay.
dabbled, but they're really good. So I
Yeah.
would like to go back.
I remember
at some
Aria of
point.
Sorrow being very good.
I think that's where I started because based on your recommendation, you told me to start with Aria of Sorrow.
I mean, CB, did anything from this direct excite you?
Yeah. Suikoden 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. You're a
I like-
Suikoden guy?
I love it, but you are all clearly missing the biggest banger on this list.
Is it the Patrick Star game?
No, it's Power Wash Simulator's getting more stuff. I get to go
right, yeah, Shrek DLC, right?
Yeah, get to
Oh
go
my
spray
God.
around Shrek Swamp.
I mean, if I'm gonna go download DLC for Power Wash Simulator, I'm gonna go get the Back to the Future and the Final Fantasy VII stuff.
I have those too. So.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't played them yet.
So, dude, I love me some Power Wash Simulator. So I get excited when they're like, "Ooh, we got more stuff coming." I'm like, yes.
I mean, DLC I was excited about, dude. Throes of the Watchmaker, the Sea of Stars DLC. I'm all over that. I don't know. It's surprising it would take 2 years to make, but it's coming next year, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Hopefully there'll be more wheels to play.
Also, Capcom Fighting Collection 2.
Yeah,
It's got like everything, right? Like
Dude, it's
Power
got
That's what it looked like.
It's got Power Stone on it.
dude, you can play
Yeah.
multiplayer online Power Stone in the year of our Lord 2024.
I know, dude. I'm like, that was the first thing I saw on that list. I'm like, yes, Power
Dude.
Stone.
All right, sounds like we got to Kevin. You got to be a Power Stone guy, right?
Ish.
Ish, good enough.
It-
What we're gonna play.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will be Zach. You and I we will be playing some Power
Dude,
Stone.
I'm saying there's be some 4-player Power Stone going on right here. It'd be a good time. Scott, there's no way Scott's ever played Power Stone, right?
No.
no, but it will be at R2V2,
There you go.
so you can play it on an actual arcade cabinet. Just saying.
I can't.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
yeah. Ah,
So
Yeah,
I'm still trying to talk her into letting you officiate.
dude, I would freaking love that if I could do that. You gotta let me know because I only got 2 months. I don't know how long it takes to get ordained.
You only have 2 more months.
I mean,
I
considering
think you
I'm
can take a
already
class
am,
online for like 30 minutes or something.
It
Yeah.
doesn't take long, Scott. I can send you the link because I'm already ordained.
Well, I don't want to do it if he's not gonna be here. I don't have
I'm
a
not
reason to
gonna-
be ordained.
I'm not going to be there.
Uh,
But Scott, I did think about you during this direct with the game Peglin, which was Peggle but an RPG.
yeah, I'm down.
That's right. Isn't that all you need?
As a guy that recently replayed Peggle, and oh man, what was that other Peggle-like game that I reviewed? Do you remember where it was like monsters? It almost had like a story behind it, and oh man, it was
you review a lot of games, buddy.
I know, but it was basically Peggle, but just with a different move set and actual characters
Well,
that you were dropping instead of silver balls.
I mean, it's a game with balls in it. Scott loves it.
Oh my god.
He's out of line, but he's not wrong.
Did any of you watch the trailer for Pizza Tower, which I know has been on PC for a while, but
No.
I did not.
I did.
you gotta.
It was a sensation.
It looks like Speedrunner, the video game. This is what it looks like. It looks like, when you watch somebody, like you never like go through TikTok and you see somebody that's just like powering through those crazy hard, like Mario World levels, like the fan made ones.
Yep.
And they're just doing it so quick, and you're like, how in the world are they doing this? This is like that whole game. Like it's just designed for that kind of stuff. Not nearly as difficult, but
it looks like what people think Sonic is.
yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah.
Just
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that really stood out to me. A lot of these are ones that I've never played. Am I pronouncing it incorrectly? It's Suikoden, not Suikoden.
I think it's Suikoden, right?
Tweaking it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've always said.
I jokingly said Suikoden earlier. If that's what. I didn't,
okay.
I'm
I
not
didn't
going to lie, that
confuse you.
may be how I pronounced it when I was a kid.
I'm confident I did as well. That's why. Yeah.
But I mean, between that and the Dragon Quest games, I've never played those. Like, I feel like this is the way to do them if I'm going to.
And this is why remakes and re-releases can be good. Certain
Mhm.
people on this call,
Yeah.
because you're bringing games to a whole new audience that haven't had a chance to experience them before.
But at the same
And
time,
that's
I
a
know what
wonderful
Nintendo
thing.
is capable of, and I want them
Now
to
they
keep
just need to make a
pushing.
multiplayer.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
finally remaking Shovel Knight. Like, it's been so long.
Right. Yeah, it's just like, you see Until Dawn getting a remake, you're like, thank God, everybody was clamoring for that.
And I love Shovel Knight. I love everything Yacht Club Games does.
Yeah.
Well, almost everything. But I just don't, like, watching that trailer made me go, Oh yeah, I haven't played that in a while. I'm just gonna go fire up the old game again. Like I just don't.
It's a
I don't know,
confusing release, to say
Yeah,
the least.
like-
yeah.
Shovel
got
of hope we're
multiplayer.
gonna buy that you're gonna buy this.
All right. Anything else somebody wants to mention really quickly from the list?
Some new Balatro decks.
I'm gonna say I'm surprised you didn't talk about that, Scott.
Well, I wasn't clear if that was exclusive to Switch or if that's coming to everywhere.
I see.
It'll start
I mean-
on Switch and then move over.
I see. Yeah.
Because I as much as I love Switch, I don't think I love Balatro. I don't think I'm going to buy another copy of it unless it comes to phone. Because that's like
Do you own it on
that's
Switch?
really where I want to play that game. I don't own it on Switch.
Oh, okay.
I own it on Xbox.
I'm sure that this is everywhere.
Okay.
You know, I guess the one, Coffee Talk Tokyo. I'm excited about that. I like my Coffee
Yeah,
Talk games.
yeah.
And now, we'll see how the Japanese make coffee. I'm going to guess it's pretty similar.
And I know you kind of joked about it, but I'm not that I'm going to play it, but I'm just happy it exists. I think the Patrick game actually looks kind of cute. Like
Look, I'm happy we're seeing more kind of 3D platformers.
yeah.
I'm just waiting. If they're gonna return to the world of 3D licensed platformers, I'm looking forward to a license I care about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there you
understand.
go. Yep.
Like I said, it's not something for me, but I don't even know. Do kids still watch SpongeBob, or is that
Yeah.
are they scratching the 20 and 30-year-olds itch? at
No,
this
no.
point?
My 2-year-old likes SpongeBob.
All right, there you go. So he'll love this game. All right, well, let's move on. Before we move to the new games we've been checking out, I want to remind everybody about Patreon. If you'd like to help support the Gaming Outsider and all of our endeavors, you can do so and get something back for doing so. We got a Patreon at patreon.com/thegocast. $1 a month will get you the episode a day earlier than everybody else. $3 and $5 will get you either 1 or 2 bonus episodes each month. CB, what's available for people to check out right now?
Oh, well, the Peace of Mind episode with Zack, Scott, and Alyssa, as well as Desert Island with Mike Card. But I'm more excited for what's upcoming.
Yeah, I should stop promising it because I was going to record it right after last time. But yes, I'm going to do some chapters from Podcasts and Power-Ups, the book that CB purchased for me.
Oh, dude.
But is it just an AI
I
generated?
cannot wait.
We're going to see how that goes. It's going to be ridiculous. Thumbing through it, there is a section where it introduces everybody on the podcast, or like my friends, and each paragraph is just like, Zach, CB, Kevin.
Oh, you just love us
Like
all,
it's
huh?
just like it's just like 4 paragraphs in a row, all starting with insert name, and it just
The best is when
Yeah.
it tries to give you a breakdown of like how this person is, and I'm like, they got the people kind of crossed, but a couple of them are pretty spot on.
yeah.
All right.
I think it's going to be a
can't
lot of
deny
fun.
I am intrigued.
interested. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Zack, the
Yeah.
wily and outgoing eccentric person.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's all like wild and crazy stuff. But anyway, if any of that sounds interesting, that's going to be for the $5 tier people, by the way. So I'd love it if we got some more Patreon people. Patreon.com/thegocast. Thank you to all of our contributors. You guys are the reason that we are still doing this show week in and week out. All the website, the hosting, the podcast hosting, all that is paid for by Patreon supporters, and I can't thank you enough. We're going to go now and jump into the new games that we've been playing. Zach, what is new on the horizon that I can ignore because I'm going to play Star Wars?
You can channel your, inner Assassin's Creed Skywalker with Star Wars Outlaws coming PS5, Xbox Series consoles, as well as PC, August 30th. That's when Ubisoft is letting the peasants play. The people who only cough up $70. Ubisoft thinks less of those customers and thinks that they deserve to play later. Sumerian 6 is a stealth strategy game similar to Shadow Gambit or Desperados 3. So, looking pretty cool. It's a World War II setting coming to PC September 2nd. Harry Potter Quidditch Champion, the sports games, coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC September 3rd. The casting of Frank Stone is a supermassive game. The Dark Pictures people. They're doing a story set in the world of Dead by Daylight. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC September 3rd. Numata first-person horror game coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC September 3rd. Parcel Core is a bike messenger game that has a lot of jet set radio energy. Coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC September 3rd. And then Age of Mythology Retold, a remake of the classic Age of Mythology game, comes to Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC September 4th. Scott, it sounds like you're all in on Star Wars Outlaws.
I am really excited to see what that game is all about. It's going to feel so good to play a Star Wars game without a lightsaber. Like I'm excited.
Yeah, sounds pretty amazing. CB, I assume you're already playing Star Wars, so that would be your answer?
I am, but I just also bought the casting of Frank Stone and Numata.
Wow. I guess I'm a good salesman.
You
hear that?
Dude, I love supermassive games. I've played all the Dark Anthology games. And I completely forgot that this was coming out, so I was just like, and hop on and buy.
It does look interesting. Numata, I thought, kind of gave me some Condemned vibes.
Yeah, it really does.
And I could be down for that, for sure. What about you, Kevin? Anything on this list tripping your trigger?
If I was going to check anything out, which I might, I think I'm going to look into that Parcel Core. I mean, it's got, like you said, it's got the crazy taxi vibes. And it just looks fun.
Yeah, you say it with a little fragile, you know?
Isn't it parcel?
Parcel.
Like same thing.
Like another word for package?
That's what I said.
I don't know why the country accent got me. What are they in Parcel Corps?
Would you like to see my parcel?
Yeah, we're down here in the south.
Leave me alone with my brazier.
Well, if it was that full like Parcel corpse.
It may because I just learned about it today, but this Sumerian 6 game looks awesome. It looks like a Shadow Gambit, but during World War II, and I could be way on board for that, especially now that Me, the developer of those games, closed. So let's see if maybe these guys can take it over. And yeah, I'm really excited about Sumerian 6 all of a sudden. Yeah,
nice,
absolutely. But Scott, do you hear that? It's somebody knocking on your coffin lid.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel like our audio editor is going to kill me for that. Scott, you playing Knock on the Coffin Lid, which I think is an amazing title for a video game. And this is a deck building roguelike, right?
Yeah, you played Slay the Spire, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is Slay the Spire, and I don't say that disparagingly.
Yeah.
Because it's capitalizing on what Slay the Spire did in fantastic ways. So you remember when I tried to sell you on roguelikes a long time ago?
Yes,
with Children of Morta.
Oh yes, in this dark pre-Hades world.
Yes, I was like, you got to play this one. It's actually got really good storytelling and voice acting and everything. You already like Slay the Spire, and this one actually adds a story to it.
Word.
Like fully voice acted stories.
Okay.
It's called Knock on the Coffin Lid. The game opens up, and you just see a hand reach over to a coffin and literally knock on the coffin. And, the lid comes off, and that is your character that has been killed and resurrected by this guy that knocks on the coffin lid. And, dude, the voice acting is really good. The story is interesting because it's not just you. There's 2 other characters in the coffins, which are going to be your other playable characters later. But, your character wakes up and is like, why am I here? Who are you? So there's this element of mystery behind it. And before you even go on the quest that this guy wants to set you on, he has you retell your tale about how you wound up getting into the coffin. So the game doesn't even start with the actual game of the story now. It has you kind of retell this story.
Okay.
And you go through. Cool. It's just really clever, man. And then so it does the Slay the Spire thing where you've got the the map, the different pathways that you can go to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about? And some of them are a campfire. Some of them are a question mark, and just some random kind of encounter type of thing happens, and you have some decision to make. Or it's a battle, which does the card-based battle like you're used to in Slay the Spire. But in between each node, your character and the character that resurrected him or revived him have a little conversation, like voice-acted conversation.
Like about
in between.
They're talking to each other while you're living out the adventure of old.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Which is just so cool, man. Like, and it's voice acted. Like, just these little conversations still have the voice acting behind them, and the branching paths are massive. It's just, I don't know if you've seen the trailer. The branching path makes Slay the Spire look like, a walk around the block.
Yeah.
By comparison, there's just so many different branching paths. So like just the setting and the aesthetic and the voice acting alone,
Right. Well,
are great.
Real quick, the aesthetic, right, is like everything's got kind of a macabre tone to it, right?
Very much so,
Yeah.
especially the character that resurrected you. Like I don't know if you've seen, he's got like these shoulder pads that have like spikes or feathers coming out of him. His hair is blue, and he talks with this really deep, soothing voice,
Yeah.
but also ominous at the same time. Dude, it's just really good. It's really good. So I haven't gotten super deep into it, but I will say that the combat, again, if you're familiar with Slay the Spire, it's very similar, but it has its own tweaks. Obviously, the cards are all different, but they also add party members. So you may come across one of the question marks where you have a decision to make. In my case, I came across this dude with a butcher knife, and I could either just fight him right out, or I could try to rescue him. And whatever decision I chose, he wound up in my party. But I don't have direct control over him. So I can't, he does his own actions. He does his own attacks. He does whatever his cards are available to him. But I can still defend him. You know how there's like defend cards in Slay the Spire? So I can defend him or myself. But I can't do his attacks.
Now, does that is there any kind of like relationship mechanic or anything that makes him more likely to help you out or anything like that?
There's not a built-in mechanic, and I think the reason is that these side characters are expendable. They are, once they're gone, if they die, they're dead.
Okay.
There's no like bringing them back, and they're gone for you've lost that character.
So like temporary helpers or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
So and you have a bit of a conversation, but I don't think those conversations are voice acted. But it's just a clever spin on it, and I played so much Slay the Spire last fall, if you remember. I think I was playing it on my phone. I actually beat one of the pathways, and I got a good way through the second pathway before my Apple Arcade subscription lapsed. I played a good portion of that game. This one has so many more moving parts to the cards. I mean, you've got some of the basics there. Like you've got a basic attack and you've got a basic defend. And then you earn more cards whenever you beat an enemy. You can upgrade those cards at a campfire or heal. I mean, it's so much Slay the Spire that it's comfortable to me, but I've got all these new bells and whistles to play with. So it'd be really curious to hear somebody that hasn't played Slay the Spire to see if it feels overwhelming, because there's a lot of stuff going on here. Lots of choices. Oh, and there's gear. So you when you defeat an enemy, you might find a new pair of boots or something. So now you can actually go equip these boots, and then when you go to a shop, you can actually sell old equipment like an RPG.
Okay, seems a little more mechanically dense, perhaps, than Slay the Spire. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So I am definitely going to be playing more of this one. I got a code from Keymailer for this one, but it's developed and published by a company named Red Boon. And if I'm not mistaken, this is one guy that's doing this. I don't quote me on 100%. That's just something that I heard on another podcast. But if that's the case, it looks amazing. It just looks so good. Remember how in Slay the Spire they kind of look like paper puppets,
Yes.
like the way they moved. This kind of has that similar vibe, but it just feels more refined. Like they don't move quite as jerky. And they have a little bit more life to them. And I'm not knocking Slay the Spire by any means. I obviously love that game, but this one just feels more alive all around. And I don't know, everything from the title of this game, the voice acting, I'm going to be playing this one for quite a while. Like the only downside I have for this game, and it's not even a major one, it's just a personal thing, is I feel like this game would be better played on an actual PC with a mouse. I played Slay the Spire on a phone where you could just kind of click and drag cards and everything.
Yeah.
On this one, I have not tried messing with the options to see if there's a way to just select cards or, with the pad or something. But you actually, with the default settings, have to drag the right touchpad to move the mouse, and then you pull the right trigger as a mouse click. So you're dragging to pick up the card, dragging the card that you want to pick up, press the trigger to pick up the card, and then drag it with your thumb
that's not
to where you want to go.
Not ideal for Steam Deck.
Yes. Again, to be fair, I just jumped right in and did it. I didn't, how you can go to the Steam settings and find like the recommended Steam Deck
or the
settings.
Community layout or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't try that, so if it exists, I just I was so excited to play this game. I just wanted to jump right in, and I had no idea.
Yeah,
so.
I got to tell you, this is a rare situation where I'm jealous you got the key for this one. Because I think this looks great.
It is I'm really, really enjoying it, and I'm intrigued by the story.
Yeah.
Like, the music is great, and I just love that there was no story in Slay the Spire. I was just doing it because it was fun to see how far I could get and see what new cards I could acquire, and take, like, starting out fighting these wimpy enemies, and you just wind up taking out these massive enemies that are really difficult, and it's so good. So good. So knock on the coffin lid. Big recommendation for me, for sure. I foresee you checking this one out at some point in the future, Zach.
Yeah, definitely will. I'm just saving some money for the whole marriage situation right now. But
yeah.
So I gotta.
You better keep saving.
I gotta be picky. But dude, I really want to play this game. I think it looks great.
I wish we lived closer. I'd just let you borrow my Steam Deck for a weekend or something.
Yeah. Well, such as it is.
Yeah. Okay, well, I want to talk next about Star Wars Outlaws, which CB has been playing. Now, you've just put, 4 hours or so into this?
Yeah.
Because, the rest of us peasants have to wait.
Exactly right, man. Ubisoft doesn't care about you, dude. They care about people with CB.
You don't have to wait, Scott.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking about firing it up tonight, actually, although it's a pretty big install. I haven't installed it yet.
It's a beefy boy.
Yeah. So everybody is complaining about all the 7 out of 10s and 8 out of 10s that this game is getting, because apparently that is a terrible score now. I'm really curious to hear your first impressions of this game. I'm not even going to ask any specifics. Just tell me about it.
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it.
Is it Star Wars Far Cry?
Star Wars Assassin's Creed?
Is it more Assassin's Creed than Far Cry?
You're a thief.
Well, I know, but I mean, are there towers to climb? Are you?
Couldn't tell you. So far, I've just finally left kind of the opening area.
Mm-hmm.
But there's Zach's gonna love this game because there's a lot of sneaky boy action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did see that. It had a I don't know. This is probably not a favorable comparison to a lot of people, but it gave me some Watch Dogs vibes. But I really like the first Watch Dogs, so it's a compliment for me.
You're not wrong. I mean, there's lock picking with data picks, and I don't know what it is about the Star Wars universe, but everybody has to have a small, cute companion.
That's true. Well,
is it
R2D2, BD1, Nix in this game.
So what does that character do for you? I've been unclear listening to other podcasts that have gotten their hands on it. What?
That door over there is unlocked, but I can see through the window. Hey, Nix, can you go over there and push the button?
Okay.
Does stuff like that. Or I'm trying to sneak up on this guy. If I tap this button combination, Nix will run over and grab them by the arm and pull them down so you can knock them out.
All right. Cool.
I love the fact that there's on the fly combat. So like say you're sneaking up on somebody and like just to like stealth them out, and they turn around and see you. Rather than pull out your pistol and shoot them, you could just melee the crap out of them.
Oh, okay.
So like there's a little bit of on the fly decision making that you can make. But yeah, like one of the first areas, like you can sneak through and as long as you don't get caught, travel through this whole building, like deactivate security stuff, break into rooms, and I'm gonna steal your stuff, and it's fun.
Okay.
Like,
So it does sound a little bit like the standard Ubisoft formula. I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying, is that what it is?
it kind of feels like it, but it doesn't feel like full on Far Cry. Like I'm gonna just barrel in and shoot everything.
Yeah.
Like you can go quite a bit sneaky, and then things will go bad. But I being a huge Star Wars fan, I love the time period that they put this in, because it's in between episode 4 and episode 5.
Oh, okay.
So it's after the Death Star is destroyed, but before Empire Strikes Back.
So does that mean the Empire is like a little more militant since they suffered such a big loss, or like they're
Yes.
kind of lashing out on the populace?
Yes.
Okay.
Like one of the first planets you go to is a kind of recognizable place,
Okay.
but it's not.
So you have gone to multiple planets.
I'm on my second planet.
Okay. How's it?
So
Does it do the? Are you just like you're just glowing through the atmosphere, right? You're just like breaking through the clouds to land. There's no loading screen to land.
I don't know, but I had to pilot my ship off the first planet,
Okay.
which
Like No Man's Sky style?
like I had to like very simplistic control, like forward on the left stick to accelerate.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was kind of cool because as you're doing that, you're being actively chased. So, but instead of doing the like, it's from a first person for the ship view. So you're
okay.
like right behind the ship, and you see bolts coming past you, like, and it's not like you can't turn and look, like you just gotta fly.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it's
Now,
like
I know you're not super far into this game. You're only like, you said, like 4 hours or so. But are they at all leaning into, hey, you know this from Star Wars, you know this from Star Wars,
No.
or is it? Okay, good.
no, it's straight blind. I mean the first villain that you come across like definitely has an imposing presence. Without being like I have so little information, like I can't really spoil anything. Like I don't know if this villain is force sensitive or not, but like he is, like he feels like a bad dude.
Okay. Does he seem like the big bad?
Maybe, I don't know. It feels like he could be, but like it's such a different take because it's an avenue that hasn't been explored in the Star Wars universe. So it's not like, hey, I know this guy, I know this guy, I know this guy. Like I haven't come across anybody I recognize. No names other than the Rebellion and the Empire and the Death Star. Those are the only things that have been mentioned. And the fact that like I just happen to know the planet that we're on because you see it for like 20 minutes in one of the movies. But beyond that, like new ships, I have no idea. There's been no mention of Jedi. There's been no mention of Force. It's all new.
Now, is your character aligning with anybody, or is she very much her own thing?
Currently, she's very much her own thing.
You get the impression that that's going to stick through the whole thing, or are we going to wind up with like, oh, she's going to be a rebel by the end of the game?
I mean, you've come across some rebels.
I
Based
assume
upon
you're
that,
not fighting them, right?
based
Like,
upon the
you're obviously-
interaction that you have with the rebels, because you only have an interaction with them. I don't know which way this character will fall.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like, I have a feeling this character is going to be very much a Han Solo-esque character. Like I'm just in it for the money, regardless of which side.
Well, that's how it's been sold, right? That's like
Very
that was
much.
the appeal.
But I hope there's that divergence, like you can be good or you can be bad. Like whoever pays the better sum of cash.
No, now how does that work? Because when you talk about like, you know, the different factions and things like that, you obviously, I'm assuming you can't like please everybody. So you choose an action, you're gonna piss off somebody.
I don't know.
And you're gonna be oh, you don't know, you're not that far. Okay,
that's what I was, like. It's all. This is all new. I have no idea how some of this stuff's gonna work. The shooting, I will say, the shooting is a little to be desired. It feels a little thick. Like where you're
so
saying,
primitive.
Like, aim, slow drag.
Oh,
But
can you set the sensitivity?
I'm guessing you can, but it's also like your character doesn't really know anything. Like, you're just a backwater thief. Like you have no training other than you're a thief.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time in a Star Wars game where it's like, oh shoot, my gun overheated. Like stuff like that, where like everything feels purpose driven. But like I said, I'm for being a Star Wars fan, I'm in such uncharted territory. Like I have no idea where this is going to go, and I'm excited for it.
Very specific question: is there a reload button for your blasters? Like when it overheats, you like press square to
There's
like
a vent
discharge
button.
it. Okay, yeah, good. There's something about the feeling. You know, a Star Wars blaster shouldn't, right? You know, that doesn't happen in the movies, but it feels weird to play a shooter without having to tap a button every now and again, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm glad.
But I mean,
if
you're like
there.
shoot, and like, you don't overheat your gun and you don't shoot for a second, like it's fine.
No, I want there to be the vent button.
Yes.
I want to,
because you get in a heavy
reload,
firefight,
you know?
Yeah.
But
so, I'm outside of what was it, Jedi Fallen Order, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time like I've been super excited for a Star Wars game, and this is fresh to me, and I'm loving every bit of it. So the whole like, oh, 7s and 8s, who cares? It's a game. It's solid. It's not, so far it hasn't been buggy. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like people just aren't happy unless they're complaining, or at least that's what we're hearing on social media is just the complaints more. Than
I think you can. Yeah, I mean the way people are like rooting for Concord to fail, you know, like they're taking glee in it. Yeah,
I have a feeling this will balance out.
People just want to be negative, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting bad out there. People want Star Wars Outlaws to fail as well, you know.
Yes, they do. But I have a feeling this will balance. Because once people
always too there are.
Well, once this starts, once more people start playing this game, I have a feeling that score is going to balance out. Like I have a feeling it's going to sit at a solid 7.5, 8. Because
so by balance out, you meant stay the same.
But
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
No, the problem is it's getting 7s and 8s, but people are like talking like this game's a 3.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how to change that in the culture, right? Where people think 7's a bad score now.
Because it's not a 10. Because every
know.
piece of marketing you see, it's like 10 out of 10, game of the year contender.
Right.
They feel
I
that
think it's because we have been so absent of AAA games for the past few months. I mean, there've been some, right? But we just haven't had like the big bangers. This is the first big one in a long time. I mean, I guess Wukong is up there, right?
Right.
But everybody, you know, it has such high expectations for this because we haven't, you know, been complaining about, oh, there's nothing to play.
We're not
now we have something to play.
Over.
And so it's since it's not, you know, a 10 out of 10 game for this one that's coming out after a drought, if you will, which I still will argue that it's not been a drought of games.
Right.
It's been a drought of AAA games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like some people are only wanting to play the big AAA games, and when it's not the best thing ever, then it's a problem, and I just can't get behind that mentality.
Luckily, we got a 10 out of 10 coming next week. Astrobot, right? Who's with me?
Is that coming next week?
Is that next week already?
Yeah, next Friday.
Oh my goodness, that came quick.
Yeah.
That and Star Wars, dude, that's going to be That's going to be a
Yeah.
tough one to choose. I really want to play Astrobot.
Dude, I think it looks incredible.
I might actually pick up my PlayStation controller.
Hey, yo, yeah, brush the dust off, man.
Yeah, right. No, I think you sold me on the Star Wars game. I was weary, but I think I might pick it up.
I'm actually, like I said, I'm just excited that it's not a Jedi-driven game.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Because I know Zach and I are both still upset over the fact that 1313 never came to fruition.
Of course,
Right.
yeah.
But there feels like there could be some soul of that in this.
Just with less Boba Fett.
True. But
Well, there could be, but I guess he could show up.
yeah, it is in the time frame.
Yeah, this is an appropriate time.
But I mean,
If he
you're
does
a
show
thief.
up, it should just be you running away and not having a prayer. You know,
Yeah, he's going to catch you.
right? Yeah, you can run, but you only die tired.
So,
Well, I'm
early
sure
thoughts. It's worth it.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to diving into it. I'm sure we'll speak much more about it next week after presumably Zach's going to play it as well.
No, I will not. I do
Yeah.
want to play it, but again, with the I got to balance things in my life, and if my money has to decide between Star Wars, Outlaws, and Astrobot, it's picking Astrobot.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Cool. Well, Scott, tell me a little bit about this Searching for Rest. I watched the trailer, and
Uh-huh.
what the heck is this? I don't.
I'm
Yeah. I see. It looks like it might be some kind of side scroller, but there's stuff you got to do, like with coffins above you and all this fun stuff. I don't. What are you doing here?
Well, I never would have even heard about this game. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I heard Jeff Kanata talk about this on DLC, and I was intrigued. And it was only $6, and I'm like, sure, I'm totally going to play this game. It is a roguelike. It is a run-based randomizer, where you are playing a character that has died, and you've been resurrected as a pile of bones, and all you're trying to do is find your way back to your gravestone. That's how you do it. So to complete a run is you make your way back to your grave, not gravestone, but your grave. The way the game has you do this is you come across a new screen. You do not have any like direct control of your character. There's no platforming. You're not doing any running. It has a screen that has a series of rows of gravestones. And all you do is you click on the gravestone to see what's buried underneath that gravestone. Your goal is to come across a pair of boots. You need to acquire a certain number of boots, and there's a meter on the right-hand side of the screen that slowly fills up. And as long as you fill that meter with boots, you complete a run. So that's your end goal. The problem is that there's only one pair of boots buried somewhere in this row of, I don't know, 24 or so gravestones. So when you start out, it's just pure chance. Like you're just clicking random gravestones and hoping you get a pair of boots.
Looking for boots.
Right. That's the goal. What you wind up uncovering instead are piles of dirt, which do nothing. Swords, which increase your attack, which I'll get to a combat in a second. It could be a pile of bones, which actually is how you increase your health. Because yes, you do have an HP meter. You have hearts. Or it could be enemies as well. And you, at the beginning of each stage, again, it's just like a blank screen. Imagine like that, remember Memory? Like just like the card game where you played as a kid?
Yeah.
You flip over the cards and you try to match them. It looks like that, but you're not actually matching anything. You come across a blank memory board and you start clicking, you get 5 selections. You're going to do 5 selections. Whatever you pick is going to go at the bottom of the screen in front of your character. So if I get a pile of dirt's going to be there. If it's an enemy's going to be there. If it's a pile of bones, it's going to be there. And whatever combination of 5 things that you pick wind up at the bottom of the screen. And once those 5 are done, your character now has to walk through all of those 5 items. So again, pile of dirt does nothing. If it's an enemy, you fight that enemy quick before you go to the next thing. If it's the bones, it gives you health at that point. If it's a sword, it increases your health, your attack at that point. If it's a pair of boots, it adds to your boot meter, which gets you closer and closer to completing a run. Where the game gets interesting is it gives you perks along the way. Once you complete a stage, even if you don't get any boots, you just go to a new stage, and you'll come across RBR style little things that randomized upgrades that do good things for you. Because one of the other things that you can uncover is a lantern. And if you do a lantern, it actually reveals what the top, bottom, left, and right gravestones have behind them, so you can make an educated decision about what you're going to choose.
Okay.
Are you following me so far? Or am I going too
No, I
fast?
get it, yeah.
So you might get a perk that says anytime you do a sword, it also does a lantern-esque thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or if this condition happens, it upgrades your health. Or if this condition happens, there's just all this random stuff that happens. Then the way the combat works is each enemy that you come across has hit points and attack points, and they always attack first. And so they attack you, and then you attack back, and they do damage to you, you do damage to them until one of you expires. At the very beginning, they're obviously very, very weak, but they get tougher as you go along. This game is so addicting, guys, and because at the beginning it's just pure chance, right? And that's kind of the fun of it for me is like I love the element of chance. That's why I like to throw dice as much as I do. Is I like that it's not always based on my skill; it's based on an element of luck. And so you've got that luck in there, but then you also have the strategy of choosing the correct upgrades and trying to make good decisions. One of the things you can earn is free looks. So when if you meet certain conditions, when you start the next map, all of a sudden, you've got two, I can't remember what they call them, but you can basically look at a gravestone and see what's under it without it counting as one of your 5 turns. If it's an enemy, you're going to avoid it. If it's a pair of boots, I'm definitely going to grab that. If it's a sword, I'm going to get that, but I might wait for a pile of bones until after I fight an enemy if I have full hearts already. You know what I'm saying? There's all these different moving parts. And then the progression is really great because a lot of games like this, think like Rogue Legacy. You know how like after you complete a run and you're going back and building up your castle, which gets you all the upgrades and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There is like a pile, like a gravestone on a hill that you're constantly trying to unlock things, but it doesn't give you bonuses like Rogue Legacy does. They act more like achievements. So it gives you something to work towards, and you're trying to 100% this gravesite hill, and I haven't unlocked the second one yet. So
Okay.
It's a cute little game that I think is worth looking at, especially for $6. I mean, it's very pixelated, but it is fun. It's a fun game, and I love the back and forth between chance and strategy. That's definitely my bread and butter.
So the only question, the only thing I don't understand, like the trailer showed like bolts of lightning and like stuff shooting across the screen. Are there like weapons that you get, or like you talked about the swords that you would get that would up your attack? Like, are there different things you get to build attacks?
As far as I've played, I have not seen any of the lightning attacks that you're talking about. But the game has so much more to give than what I've seen so far.
Okay.
As of right now, the sword just you've got your health, right, which is going to be on the left-hand side of the screen. It's going to have a number of hearts, which again, perks might increase your max health. But then right next to it, you also have a certain number of swords. And when you pick up a sword, it adds another sword, and now your attack has increased that much.
Okay.
I have not gotten any perks that give me like magic attacks. I'm kind of just waiting for that to happen at this point.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It's I'm really looking forward to it too, because it's a game too where it's not super difficult to do a run because it's so chance based. You can just get super lucky on a run. I completed a run on my second run. When's the last time you played an RBR where you finish a run your second time playing it? And then I go through and there's like 4 runs where I just lost on like the 3rd stage. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the more you unlock and the permanent upgrades you get, things get more and more interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it does.
Okay.
The only downside I have so far is it's not super ideal for Steam Deck. It's another one that I wish I was playing with a mouse, because the touchscreen works great, but holding a Steam Deck with one hand and then touching with your other hand,
Yeah,
it works, but it's not the most ideal way to play.
Yeah,
on
in my
Steam Deck,
experience, that hasn't been that much fun.
So again, if this would be a great, like if I had a Wii remote controller, I could play this. You know what I mean? Like, point a thing and click on it that way would be perfect. Or like I said, a mouse. But you can connect a mouse to a Steam Deck, can't you?
Yeah, I actually haven't done it myself, but I'm pretty sure you can.
I guess
I beat that
they are just handheld computers, right? At the end of the day. So yeah.
I'd be that dude at the airport with a Steam Deck propped up and a mouse, just like playing, searching for.
Yeah,
rest.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, so Searching for Rest, it's on PC only right now. But I think again, this is another one I think would be perfect for phone. Like this is a phone game to me because you can do a run in 15 minutes, and the progression is going well enough that I never feel like I'm having a wasted run. You know what I mean? I'm accomplishing something because the achievements on the hill are like defeat this many enemies. So even if you kill some enemies, you're putting something towards it. It's not like just complete a run. There are things that you're earning along the way. So
okay,
I'm digging it. So.
All right, Scott, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Tell me why I should go see a movie that couldn't even make a third of the box office of Cats.
Oh my goodness, this movie has been land blasted
I
so
ain't
bad.
stopping. With the star-studded cast that it has, and it couldn't even make back a quarter of its own budget.
Well, the star-studded cast directed at the retirement community, but yeah.
I mean, the fact that I met Eli Roth in person a couple weeks ago, and even he was kind of like, "Yeah, I made a movie. Here's the keychain. You can go see it if you want."
Now, Scott,
Really? He was
Yeah,
that
Wow.
lackadaisical about it?
You could tell he hated making it.
Wow.
well, he probably had to talk to Randy Pitchford, and well, I'd want to quit my job too. Scott, I assume you're going to tell us that it's not as bad as Reputation. Is that what we're about to learn?
It's not as bad
See.
as The Reputation. I mean, it's got like what 4% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not a great movie. I mean, I will never see it again. I'm just not because it's so terrible. It's just I just have no desire to see it again. But it has some redeeming qualities. The biggest one is Cate Blanchett. I think even though she's older than the character is, she nailed Lilith. Like she really, I felt like at moments, especially when this doesn't sound like I'm saying this in a bad way, especially when she's not on screen and she's doing voiceover. Oftentimes, I felt like I was listening to the same voice actor that did her in the game. Like she clearly paid attention to the game and got that cadence down and the voice down. I really enjoyed her. She is probably the best thing I liked about the movie. I don't know what they did with Tiny Tina. That doesn't make any sense to me. Brick, which wasn't much of a character, I guess, from the first one, but
Well, he was one of your 4 leads, right?
right. But like, did he even talk? Right? Did any of them talk in the first? Your characters didn't, right? They just
Yeah, I feel like they just said
menu
things when
screens.
you like use your
Yeah.
specials or whatever. They talked in the second one about rounding them back up or something like that, right?
you wind up running into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like each of them, and then you have like a mission based on finding them, and then you have a conversation, but it's not like they're there for the whole game. So
Does Kevin
Uh,
Hart play Roland straight?
for the most part, yes, there are
That's
jokes here and
very
there.
surprising, actually. That's
But yeah, he
That's
does
good.
not play straight up Kevin Hart, and they make jokes about his height as expected.
of course, yes.
Claptrap, not as I was not looking forward to Jack Black as Claptrap, but I think with his voice as modulated as it was, it worked better than I expected. But a lot of the jokes with that felt very silly, felt very Saturday morning cartoon instead of real humor. But like I said, I still had some fun with it. I chuckled a couple times. I know this is not ringing endorsement, but this is not an awful movie. There's fun to be had with this movie. I honestly think, Zach, you might like it better than some just because it's not the same kind of humor in Borderlands. It's not doing pop culture references. It's not doing ridiculous, over-the-top villains like what was his name? Handsome Jack. It's not that kind. That the villain is actually like a normal villain. And they do a good job of giving the exposition of the world and what the vaults are, with like a voiceover at the beginning. It's quick and to the point, and but just don't expect a lot of alignment to things that happen in the game. I know you don't like Tiny Tina. I thought Tiny Tina was a lot of fun, and she is not at all like that character, which again, you might like her better. So
how many times do they drop the gun that they're having to pick up the same gun with the slightly better stats?
Not once.
Okay.
There's not even that many guns, honestly.
Like, for me, this is like, let's just name something, take the complete soul out of it.
Yeah.
Well,
there's actually a really
in Borderlands case, it's probably good to exercise the soul. Just get that right the hell out of there, and just go ahead and put something else in its place.
I mean, to be fair, if they actually made Borderlands the movie like the game, it would have to be rated NC-17.
I mean, that is the one complaint I have, is that this movie is PG-13. Like, why?
Yeah, that's very weird.
Like if you're going after that audience, why would you take it down?
If you're appealing to the Borderlands audience, they would have, in theory, had to be 17 when the first game came out, right? Because it was M-rated. So surely you should probably target a little bit towards adults.
So it sounds like they made a movie about a game that's not about
and
the game.
neutered it.
I mean, the universe feels like the Borderland universe. Like the dystopian world is torn to crap because of whatever, but I don't know. There actually is a really fun scene at the very beginning when Lilith is like recruited, by a certain character, that they do some fun things that I've not seen in the Borderland universe that I thought were really clever. And I was like, okay, I'm along for the ride. This is actually pretty cool. And then there's just so much, like, it's just a very unmemorable movie. Like I said, I there's not any scenes that I went, man, I got to go see that again. I just that one scene was awesome. You know what I mean?
I like the fact that you haven't even brought up Jamie Lee Curtis.
She does Tannenbaum pretty well. I think she didn't quite nail Tannenbaum like Cate Blanchett nailed Lilith, but I wasn't happy with that decision. I think she makes more sense than Cate Blanchett in terms of age. I didn't have a problem with
Cate Blanchett. Is one of those actors that you could pretty much give her a role and she's gonna do a solid.
Right, but it's also clear she has a crap ton of makeup on. Like,
yeah,
like holy cow. So anyway, that's
Lilith
all I'll say.
She's like mid-20s, right, in the game, and
that's what it feels like.
And this is before that, right? Like this is like more of an origin for Lilith or whatever.
Yeah, there's. I mean, she's just like a nobody kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's origin seems like a stretch because like she's a nobody that just gets thrust into this right away.
Well, I'm saying because in the first Borderlands, she's like known as a siren and she has special powers and stuff. I guess I understood from the trailers. It looks like she was kind of learning about herself in the movie.
Yeah, that's very much what's going on here, and because we all know that, they're playing this off like it's a big secret, and they're dropping hints about the possibility. And I'm like, I can't tell if it's because I already know that secret, or if it's like,
well, it is funny. Like, so the secret is what her character class is called. In the first game, like it's such a non-secret, is what I'm saying. Like, that's funny.
But I mean, people that are going to see this movie that don't play the games, it just seems so obvious to me. Like, where else is this going to go?
I don't think anybody who didn't play the games is going to see this movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think they were probably hoping that they would, but judging by the returns on this, because I love watching box office numbers, because to me it's kind of fun to watch. And one of the considered one of the worst like box office failures of all time, John Carpenter and everything made $250 million. This hasn't even made a tenth of that. Cat buttholes made more.
Well, they, but they made the movie expecting it to be huge, obviously. So it's just weird that they didn't. They should have just gone after Borderlands fans, not your grandma, right? Like in terms of like, you know, the fans are going to know what a siren is, so we can go ahead and skip that. You know what I mean? Because the Borderlands games have sold over 85 million copies as a franchise. It's a significant franchise. There's a huge audience for this movie. You didn't make a movie that they would see.
And yeah, like it. I think it just started with the casting. Like, we all knew this wasn't going to be good.
Yeah.
Because the moment they're like Kevin Hart, and I'm like, oh, Jack Black, ugh, even worse.
Well, Kevin Hart, I was kind of interested to see if he was actually going to try to be serious for once.
Nah,
He does for the most part. Like I said, he doesn't go like
full Kevin Hart.
he doesn't go full Kevin Hart ever. Like there's a couple times where he makes a quip or whatever, but you know, especially at the end, you know, when the hero moments and things start happening, you know, he's playing it straight.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think it's great. You know?
Yeah.
But
So like,
I feel that you could have gotten like any B-movie action hero from the 80s and done better.
well, I mean, they were banking on, you know, Kevin Hart being pretty hot right now and
Didn't
selling
work.
tickets. Yeah.
You have
So-
a star-studded cast, and it failed miserably.
And it's too bad because I don't think it's not awful, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is a fantastic movie that you should rush out and see, but there's some fun to be had here. It's way better than the credit it's getting.
I want video game movies to be good. The problem is we get one good one and then 4 bad ones.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
we've had a pretty good streak of good ones, right? You know, this maybe this is
Tomb
a,
Raider.
this is a holdover from the bad ones. Tomb Raider was 2018, right? That was a long time ago.
It's not that long ago.
That's 6 years ago.
I mean, the
realms of
TV
things.
shows are doing well. Last of Us and Fallout.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
TV. Well, Last of Us and Fallout are doing good.
TV's an
Halo,
edge.
not so much.
Yeah.
Well, Halo deserves the hate because, like, as soon as I heard the people behind it saying they refuse to play the games or
Right.
told their people to not play the games,
Yep.
That's the problem. Is that like for every good one that we have to have one that's like the complete polar opposite.
Well, without the bad ones, you couldn't have the good ones.
But the problem is,
you wouldn't know what a good one was.
It's
Luckily,
the good
Sonic
ones you
movies
want
are
to be
so
good.
that it raises up the rest, right? They're just that good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This-
There you go.
I mean, God, I think like the second Mortal Kombat movie did like triple the box office of this easy.
Well, was that good though?
No, Mortal Kombat
So,
Annihilation
yeah.
was awful.
Legit, probably
Well-
the second worst movie I've ever seen.
It's also like a different era when, number one, there weren't as many movies in general, and there were even fewer movies based on video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Mario Brothers movie probably did better than we thought it did. Just
Hey,
because
that-
it was a Mario movie.
That movie was all right. Remember we watched it a few years ago, Scott?
We did it for a Patreon episode.
It's funny how if you're looking for, you could. Well, actually, you don't have to look for it, but John Leguizamo is definitely drunk in some of those scenes.
Oh,
Both of them.
Bob,
are.
Well,
Bob
there's
Hoskins is annihilated.
There's one where it's like John Leguizamo is clearly stumbling out of their plumber van, and it's really funny, dude. It's like, wow. You didn't even want to retake that, I guess?
I was gonna say, no, we're just gonna go with that one,
It's
guys.
good. We actually got him out of the truck, so that's a win. It's all right. Let's wrap it for the day.
So that's all I will say about Borderlands. Don't listen to the haters. It's not, like I said, it's not a huge recommendation. It is what I call a fun one and done.
Hey, all you got to do is wait for streaming now, since it's being pulled from theaters.
If
Sure.
$10 were the full price of purchase, what would you pay?
$450,
Okay.
maybe $5.
Oh, okay. Reasonable.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Like I said,
So that's not a price that would penetrate the box office, though.
no, probably not. Well, CB, I got to talk to you about this game that you played called Rewind or Die. I had not heard about this game until today, and I watched the trailer, and I've got to ask you, just straight up, why did you buy this game?
Because it's a PlayStation 1
That was going to
game,
be my
man.
question.
There's nothing about this trailer that makes me go, man, I can't wait to get my hands on that. But you said you liked it. So.
It was there, and honestly, it was kind of fun. It's a short game.
But what made you buy it? What made you go, yeah, I'm in?
Because I was waiting for Star Wars Outlaws to download, and I was like, hey, this game looks cheap, and it's short.
Good Lord.
But
I mean, you watch this thing, it looks like it has a filter over it to be like a crappy VHS
it does.
On top of PS1 graphics. Like, they even do the thing where they're like zooming in on a character's footsteps, and he's doing footsteps, but he's not moving. He's just like, you know how those like characters from that era,
that,
like,
that block, that block noise walk, that
yeah, the good stuff.
And they're not moving, but they still take a full step.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the camera purposely zoomed in on that. Like this is a selling point of this game.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I actually had a lot of fun with this.
Don't apologize. Just tell me why it's fun.
Because it's a perfect like trip in the Wayback Machine. It feels like you're playing a PS1 horror game, but it's like you get in and you get out before it overstays its welcome.
How long are we talking?
Yeah,
less than 4 hours.
My next question.
Okay.
Like it's a fun little puzzle game that takes place in a VHS store. Like
puzzle game.
It feels like the almost like a Silent Hill or Resident Evil, but like those type of puzzles, like go find this to unlock this.
Okay.
Or like, oh, I'm running away from the bad guy and I dive into this room and he runs by, but while I'm in this room there's a body there and I can check the body and the body has something on it that's going to help me in this other area.
So is it like, do you die? Is there combat?
There's no combat on your end. Well, there's one area of combat. Let me rephrase that. There's one area of combat on your end. You get a gun. The aiming mechanics are very PS1 era-ish.
Great. You're really selling me on this.
He's selling me.
It feels like a legitimate PS1 era game, but like I said, it feels like Resident Evil without being chased constantly by zombies. Like it starts out like you're a guy that works in a video game store, and there's a bunch of murders like that are happening.
Video game store or VHS?
VHS store. But there's murders that are taking on around that, and like people keep asking you about it, and you lock up the store for the evening and everything, and things just start going sideways. But
okay,
it's fun because this game has a lot of little like references to other things in it. There is clearly like there's a ton of Resident Evil like references in this.
Like straight up references,
like
to lore,
find
or
the
or
valve to turn off the gas so you can progress through this area. Like it's
does the story end in a satisfying way?
Yeah, it's actually got 3 endings, and I got all 3 already.
Man,
it was a long download for Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah,
it was like 70. It was like 75 gigs. You have to remember, I have children in my house who chew up bandwidth.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, I can download this like less than 1 gigabyte game while I'm waiting for this other and just sit here and play.
So you're recommending Rewind or Die?
If you were an achievement chaser, have at it. It's super easy to get all 1,000. If you have a lot of memories of PS1 era horror games, this game is like right up your alley. Like it's fun, it's short, doesn't overstay its welcome. There was only like one area where I'm like, I can't figure out where I'm going, but like it corrects quickly. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. The story is so ridiculous. It's got Shenmue level bad voice acting.
I love how Zach's ears just perked up as soon as you said Shenmue.
That's why I said, like, I know how to pitch this game to Zach.
Well, I'm a little younger than you guys, so PS1 nostalgia really works on me.
That's fair.
But it's I think all three of you would actually legitimately have like a fun little go at this game. It's nothing nothing insane. It's just a fun, quick little romp down memory lane. Scott's gonna hate it for one reason.
There's a timer in it.
Nope.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
The achievement scores.
Odd number. Well, if he gets all 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I haven't even like really paid attention.
it does
to
the whole
achievements
like we're
in
gonna give you
months.
58.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It is weird.
So Rewind or Die is the name of that game. I'm curious, but I don't know if I'm curious enough to pull
Just
away from
give
Star Wars Outlaws.
give it a whirl, man.
So
It's
it's
not
only-
long.
It's only $12.
He already has access to it. I paid for it.
understand. I'm looking for me, not.
I would not spend $12 on that.
Well, I did. So
I mean, I'm not saying anything about anyone that did.
I have a feeling if you put this on like your wish list on Xbox, because I get notifications like when it's like, oh, a game on your wish list is on sale.
Yeah.
So I wish list a ton of games and then I just wait for the sales on some of them.
I didn't know you could do that. Good idea.
Dude, it's a great idea.
That's my
All
Steam,
right.
my Steam habit.
Oh, dude, that's dangerous. I get emails all the time.
Yeah.
This game you put on your wish list is like on sale for $4. I forgot about that game, but sure, I'll buy it.
For the price of 2 Snickers, yeah, I'll snatch it up.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on. Want to say hello to a new member over on Facebook. He goes by the name of, how do I say this? Igo Manga?
Yeah.
EIGO Manga?
I go manga.
Sure.
Also, drop us a review if you guys get a chance on Apple Podcasts. We will read it on the show if you do it. Been asking for months. Just saying.
Keep dreaming.
Also, our website is thegamingoutsider.com, where you can listen to all the episodes there, as well as our written content, including, I kind of did a dump this week of reviews I finally got published. Mark Szymanski's review of Nocturne is up. Actually, I believe that was just the demo, but he loves that game. Loves it. And those developers are super nice. They actually reached out to me to ask for questions about the review. He talked about a bug, and they wanted more info so they could squash that bug. I thought that was kind of cool. Mark also did a review of Thalassa, Edge of the Abyss, which he's also loving. He's just getting really lucky with the games he's reviewing. Jacob Gunderson did his review of Soul Mask. I got my reviews for Galactic Glitch, Volgar the Viking 2, and Retro Avengers all on the site. And also David's review of Dros, DROS. Check out the website. We would love it if you did so. Let's go now to our From the Outside In topic. It's time to talk about the SEGA Dreamcast, also known as the biggest reason that Kevin is joining us this week. Every once in a while, I ask Zach to put together a little history lesson for us on a console from our past, and this seemed like a good time to talk about the 32-bit console from SEGA. I always look forward to these topics, so Zach, lay it on us, man. Give us some knowledge.
Sure. Why don't you sit back and live and learn?
All right.
Sonic Adventure 2 style. There's a lot of pressure for me. Okay, Kevin's here. Kevin's a huge Sega fan, huge Sonic fan. This is big. This is big news. Sega Dreamcast. A couple of facts off the top. Sold 9.13 million units, which is less than the Wii U. Which
It doesn't seem like a little. That seems like a pretty good showing.
I don't know, man. Not in the grand scheme, right?
Compared to PS2, right?
I mean, well, sure. it was PS2 like 160 million or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Dreamcast didn't have a chance. Of course, it did famously release on 9/9/99 here in the States. Who could ever forget that amazing release date?
Yeah.
It did release a year earlier, November 27th, 1998 in Japan, but who cares about that? Because 9/9/99 is where it's at. There were 19 launch titles, dude. I couldn't believe that. They came out swinging, huh?
That's the way to do it, though, man.
Dude, I mean, like compared to what a PS2 have, like 4, and they all were not good.
I'm very
I
curious
don't
as
know,
well. Like, I wonder if I don't actually know the answer to this. I wonder if all 19 were there for the Japan one, or if the Japan one came out and then they kind of built a repertoire, and then those 19 were for the American one.
Sounds like something a more dedicated researcher could have figured out.
I'm just
No, that is interesting. No, but dude, they came out on launch day: Sonic Adventure, Soul Calibur, NFL 2K, and Power Stone. That's just 4 of the games, dude. That's crazy.
NFL 2K was huge.
Yeah,
yes,
on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, you're gonna hear more about that later. There were 619 commercially released games for the console total, which I feel is kind of high for its short lifespan.
Yeah,
but even and then you want to hear the top, as I often do for these lists, the top 10 best-selling games on the console were as follows. Number 10, Seaman, with only 400,000 copies. That's not a good console if your 10th best-selling game only is sold 400K, dude. That's brutal. Do you remember this game at all, Scott? I know Kevin remembers this game.
Yeah, it's the one that had like the microphone you would talk to, like a fish that had a face on it.
Right, it was supposed to be Leonard Nimoy, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes. Oh,
with
insane.
that horrible
weird.
yellow microphone that like degrades terribly.
Yeah, my aunt's boyfriend had a Dreamcast and he had Seaman, and I remember playing it for about 20 minutes and deciding it was way the hell too weird.
Yeah, it looks like a floating turd.
I'm like 9 years old. I'm like, this is creeping me out. This fish.
Dude, I gotta play this game. I never played it.
Dude, just the picture of the fish was the weirdest thing ever.
Dude, I have it. I have it. So
who came up with that game? Like
Sega.
that idea?
Sega.
Sonic Adventure 2 was number 9 with 500,000 copies. Number 8, NBA 2K1, 504,000 copies. Number 7, Soul Calibur with 1 million units sold. Number 6, NFL 2K1 with 1.01 million. You can tell they didn't have a lot of hits because of the tiny little differences in the top 10 sales list.
Yeah, right.
Number 5, Crazy Taxi with 1.1 million. Number 4, NFL 2K with 1.13 million. Number 3, Resident Evil Code Veronica, a certified banger, with 1.14 million. Number 2, Shenmue, 1.2 million. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And then number 1, Sonic Adventure with 2.5 million, which meant that 27% of Dreamcast owners own Sonic Adventure, which is a pretty substantial attach rate.
I would say so, yeah. Now, Code Veronica, like at that time, that was only on that platform, right?
So that's
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
That's interesting that they would take that. Capcom would take that big of a gamble.
Because what was it? The next release was on GameCube.
Is that right? Resident Evil 4. I know they did. I know they ported Code Veronica to PS2.
I know,
Code
but
Veronica X. Or
Yeah,
something like
X.
that?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I think I can't remember if it was PS2 or GameCube, but one of them got like that was because everybody's like, oh yeah, Code Veronica's on Dreamcast, and we all had to wait.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
And that was obnoxious.
I know they did the Outbreak games. Were those next on PS2? The online ones.
Yeah.
Those games are weird.
Yeah, they're still bizarre.
They tried too early.
So like I was looking at this in Japan. It only launched with 4 titles. By the way, all 19 titles were live. So I mean, it's a significant list, but freaking Godzilla game came out as an initial launch title in Japan.
Oh.
Yep.
Godzilla Generations, which we never got in the US.
Brutal. I'm sorry. I'm sure that hurts.
Still mad.
Did you import a copy? CD?
So they probably would have made it multiplayer anyway.
I have not been able to find one.
Probably would have thrown a battle pass in that bad boy. So the Sega Dreamcast, notoriously easy to pirate for. You really only just had to burn a game to a CDR and you were just good to go. You didn't actually modify your hardware at all, which is insane.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why...
like who doesn't think about that?
Right? Like you don't even test it.
Yeah.
Well,
the
what?
The fact that you could just get a stack of CDRs.
Right. And just go to your local Family Video and just have at it.
That was back when I worked at Blockbuster. Before Game Pass was an Xbox thing, Game Pass was a thing you could get at Blockbuster where you could just go swap out games whenever you wanted to, and then just copy them. Game Frenzy did that?
I remember like for a while you could do it at Game Frenzy as well.
Wait, was Game Frenzy the one
that was attached to Hollywood Video?
It's
Hollywood
Game Crazy.
Yeah. Game Crazy, yeah.
But their sign-up program was Game Frenzy.
Oh, okay. So their version of Game Pass. But yeah.
The only thing
there's a number of people that would come in and swap out games like 7 or 8 times a day when I worked at Blockbuster. Like, you're clearly just uploading these to your console.
Wait, man, it's not your job to protect them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Game Crazy. The employees would always just meet you outside and give you a few more dollars if they wanted the game.
Wow.
They seem to have no policy against it. It was awesome.
It's okay because that happened a lot at GameWorks.
Yeah, well, that's a small business, so it's more likely. But I was always surprised as a kid. You know, I was trading in Final Fantasy Tactics on Game Boy Advance. There's like, hey, you get 17, but I'll give you 27 for it right now. Sweet. Good stuff, anyway. First console to have a built-in modem. CB, don't worry, settle down.
I know.
It wasn't the first game with internet, console with internet, but it was the first one with a built-in modem, thus allowing for easy internet access at home. You know, you get this Fantasy Star Online, came to be born.
Which
I'm still getting emails.
Which supposedly you can
Online.
still link them up.
You for real?
Like
your
over the
Dreamcast?
internet, you can still link up Dreamcasts.
That would be cool.
Like if you still have a landline.
I mean, I know it has a dedicated fan base, but my God.
There's still new
There's like
games.
4 people on there.
There's still new games coming out on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, there's new games coming out for every console, it feels like. Really?
CD-based consoles?
I don't know.
Not really.
You just played a PS1 game this week, so yeah.
No. Like actually, like dedicated hardware.
I know. I was making a joke, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right, go.
All right, more into the actual history here. After the astonishing failure of the Sega Saturn, including one of the most bewildering launches ever, where they didn't, alert retailers, Shoichiro Iramagi took over as CEO of Sega of America, then as president of Sega shortly thereafter, due to the failure. Before him, he got to move up the ranks pretty quick. I mean, how much was the Saturn at launch? Kevin, do you remember?
Wasn't that the $400 one?
Is that right? That's so
I
much.
feel
in
like
the
it
90s,
was.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. I remember that. I don't know
Yeah.
what it was, but it was insane.
All right, yeah, because that's when PlayStation came out. It was like $199, right? They just
Yep.
dropped the mic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good for them.
That's all he said on stage.
Yep,
He
that's
just
all he
came up
said.
and
He
said that
just
and
came up, said
literally
the price, dropped
mic.
the mic, and walked off.
Amazing. Just amazing. Sources vary on what drove the decision exactly, but Iramagi tasked 2 different teams with creating the Sega Dreamcast. One was Sega's internal hardware division led by Hideki Sato. The other was an external small team led by former IBM employee Tatsuo Yamamoto. The internal team was not made aware of the secondary team. Sega of Japan's internal hardware division worked with Videologic's chipset, dubbed the Dural, would later become known as the Katana. Sega of America worked with 3DFX and their Voodoo chipset, dubbed Black Belt. Thanks to Kevin for this additional information on the chipset names here. I did remember the Dreamcast called Katana because I remember thinking it was so cool when I learned that. But then actually, I think the Dreamcast is a pretty cool name too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're both winners. 3DFX was a graphic partner for the outside team, but they eventually revealed their contract with Sega, ousting plans for Sega's new console. That's according to a Sega of America executive. I couldn't back up his quote necessarily, but I do believe him. Because it's part of the going public with the companies, you kind of have to disclose some stuff.
Right.
So that's probably when they accidentally were like, and check it out, this Dreamcast thing, bro. Or
Right.
the Sega, I guess Sega Black Belt thing for them,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I mean, I thought that was interesting because as also Kevin noted, they had to sue, or the company sued Sega over it because Sega pulled out of the contract. For going public or whatever, they had to settle out of court, but there was some definite bad blood between the companies over this whole situation.
Yeah, and so the Dreamcast was my first foray into the world behind the scenes, so to speak, where I actually kept up with what was going on, and I remember this being a thing. And someone on 3DFX's team said something along. Again, I couldn't find the quote or whatever, but I remember it being said that they probably wouldn't have done anything if Sega didn't turn around it, because Sega turned around and cut it off, but then they tried getting a copyright to the chipset so that competitors couldn't come in and get it. So then 3DFX said, okay, well, now we're going to sue for breach of contract because you're trying to patent our stuff even though you're not going to use it or copyright it, whatever.
A lot of dirty business dealings going on over there, huh?
Yep.
Despite the console chipset being strong from this external division, Sega's Japanese executives opted for the internal Sega team's chipset, confusing Sega of America executives who thought the power and easier process to develop for from Yamamoto's team made far more sense. But considering all this bad blood, I guess that's just how it had to go, right?
Yeah.
Some Japanese pride maybe got in the way. The modem and internet access idea was simple. Sega knew the reality of what they were up against with the market already disappointed with them after the Saturn and other likewise bizarre moves, and they needed a hook over Nintendo and Sony. So they just thought, let's check out what this newfangled internet thing's all about. Cool. Famously, and dude, I thought this stuff is, I think, very interesting. Famously, EA didn't support the Dreamcast, even after attributing much of their corporate success to the Genesis. The reasons are twofold. EA was dumbfounded at the chipset choice, saying it was from a company no one knew, and it was kind of a slap in the face, said Bing Gordon, vice president of EA. EA would look past the chipset issues on one condition, that Sega not produce first-party sports titles. Bernie Stolar, president of Sega of America, said, if you look at Madden compared to NFL 2K at the time, 2K was the far superior product. Larry Probst, the president of EA, said he didn't want to compete with visual concepts. Does that sound familiar at all?
Yeah.
When they would just eventually buy their way out of competing at all.
Yep.
Unbelievable. These people were that afraid of NFL 2K years before even buying NFL exclusivity. That's crazy.
I mean, the 2K series was a banger.
Dude, they were great. Especially, and it was 2K5, right? When they went dropped down to $20. And it was like the first time they actually, made Madden have to run for its money because the reviews for 2K5 were also better.
Right.
And then an exciting competitive marketplace was born, and EA said, no, we'll just pay billions of dollars to stop that stuff right now.
Yep.
Right.
Terrible. Peter Moore, dude, our Xbox bro, Mr. Tattoos on the arm himself, led the North American launch efforts for the Sega Dreamcast, garnering 300,000 pre-orders for the console, which is a record at the time. So
People had high hopes for it.
Peter Moore knows how to sell. I feel like Scott's tired over there, or just tired of me talking.
No, I'm intrigued.
Launch day saw 225,132 consoles sold, no doubt thanks to the low $200 price tag, which created a Guinness World Record at the time for most revenue generated in 24 hours for an entertainment product, beating the previous record holder, the Phantom Menace.
Wow.
The Dreamcast was bigger than Star Wars for one day.
For a day.
For one day, yeah.
Both Electronics Boutique and Babbage's publicly shared that it was their biggest single sales day in company history.
God, Babbage's.
Dude, I know.
I forgot about Babbage's.
But they
This
were
is a term that way back. Like, I'm just waiting for you to be like, and Comp USA.
And you won't believe what Radio Shack had to say about their competitor, Circuit City. Sega focused its efforts on original and creative video game ideas, from the style of Jet Set Radio to the online innovation of Phantasy Star Online to the cinematic ambitions of Shenmue. Sadly, customers didn't seem interested, and these games saw low sales across the board. This made it hard for Sega to justify marketing dollars for these games, and thus began a terrible spiral. Peter Moore's assertion is that they simply didn't understand how quickly gamers were growing up and would demand more realistic and mature games. Which is
Go ahead.
I
thought people spoke highly of Jet Set Radio. Like that was like one of their favorite games on that console.
No, of course people did, but all 400,000 people that bought it loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But 400,000 people does not a hit make.
Yeah,
right.
Especially for a first party exclusive, right? Those games are supposed to be doing big numbers. Jet Set Radio, or I think it was Jet Grind Radio here, the first one, right? It didn't.
Yes.
It wasn't putting up Jack and Daxter numbers,
right?
And I think he's onto something with the mature games thing when you look at how big like Grand Theft Auto 3 was, an early PS2 game. But like Ratchet and Clank was still doing well, right? Oh, I guess that was a platform with attitude though. I guess all of them did. Yeah. Maybe he's right. As most gamers know, the end came with the launch of the PlayStation 2. PS1 had already gained back its momentum on the Dreamcast, and the PS2 hype was off the charts despite a widely considered poor launch lineup. Sony also had marketing spend that Sega didn't, and the unexpected hook of being the cheapest DVD player on the market.
Yep. That was a huge selling point for the PS2 at the time.
I mean, it was unbelievable, right? It's because not only do you get a DVD player, but now you get access to all these games, right? For less than just a DVD. You would be stupid to buy a DVD player, really.
And it was a good DVD player.
Right, yeah, that's a good point too. Because I'm sure there were like $200, $300 DVD players, right? But is the quality up to the PS2? Likely not.
No.
Because the PS2...
As long as it started. Remember that panicky feeling of starting a PS2, wondering if the disc was going to get read or not? That noise, and then like, is it going to work? Is it going to work? Is it going to work?
Fingers crossed, bro.
Then you just had to like turn it or... Well, and see, that was another thing. From an aesthetic standpoint, the PS2, like, as a DVD player, like, everybody was so used to like, oh, it's like a console unit, it has to go this way, and they're like, no, man, you can turn it vertically. Like, it sounds dumb, but like that was a selling point.
I never did. Like my young brain was like, "There's no way I'm supposed to do that. That's gonna hurt the disc."
I can actually attest to how I was actually excited to do that with my PS2. It's like, dude, I can stand it up, and the little PlayStation emblem flips over on the disc drives to go with it. It's like, oh, this is awesome.
It did feel,
I was a geek.
It felt like something futuristic.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, you know, as a kid who you'd have to move it from, you want to play with the big TV in the living room, but you're not always going to get access to it, so you have to move it to your bedroom with your tiny little,
13-inch
TV.
Shelf.
Yeah.
But
so so the movability of it was really nice.
I just think the PS2 was missing one thing when you stood it upright, and it was a popped collar. Right. That really
that'd be nice.
Would have made it.
Imagine if it
would have set it off.
Imagine if it looked like an outdated modem.
Anyway, Dreamcast.
Sega did not see success with Dreamcast in Japan, but the board saw hope in North America after its unbelievable launch. Peter Moore eventually had the unenviable task of informing Sega Japan that Sega was no longer viable in the hardware market, and they had to make this. He made that call a full month before PS2 even released, so they already knew the writing was on the wall. The following January, 3 months after PS2's launch, Sega announced they would be exiting the hardware market.
That was a sad.
I mean, that is sad. Like, I wasn't the biggest Sega guy, and that's a bummer. Because especially with how at each other Nintendo and Sega were back in the 90s.
Yeah, dude. Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Mm-hmm. And those commercials, Sega.
Oh yeah,
it was memorable.
Yeah, it was memorable. Like, there's a reason I'm not actually don't actually have angst for Nintendo people. There's a reason I always talk smack with like Scott and about the Nintendo Sega thing, because it was a rivalry that was fun. It wasn't toxic. It wasn't toxic like what this Xbox PlayStation crap is right now. Even though
the book was called Console Wars, it wasn't. It didn't feel like a console war. Like, everybody liked both.
Right. Exactly. I'm sure it was bitter on the executive levels. But,
exactly.
As a player of games,
that's fine.
It's just fun. Yeah.
Well, at the time, like, Nintendo had been crushing everything. So to watch a company come from nowhere and give them a black eye, it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely, dude. Kevin, I wanted to ask you, do you know anything about like the making of the VMU or anything? Because I really couldn't find exciting information about it. Yeah.
All I know is all I think I remember is they did take inspiration from the Tamagotchi things.
Oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
If you remember what like they wanted something like that, and somehow they integrated the memory, and I remember having one, and it had the little. It had the chows or something that you could get in the Sonic games.
Yes,
yeah.
That's what I remember.
And it was not my biggest, my most favorite feature, but I mean, it was there. It was different. It was cool.
Yes, yeah. I always thought the VMU was cool. I remember raising my little chows in there. But I was trying to, I'm sure the information is out there, but I couldn't find it in time for this podcast. But I feel like there's got to be a book you could write about the VMU. It's just such an interesting, weird little way to use a memory card, to make it also a video game micro console.
Right.
It was also the reason that the cord came out of the bottom of the controller.
Yes,
that
that's true.
that was
Yeah.
annoying. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
that was annoying.
But you could also use the
But-
screen for different stuff, you know? It's
Yep.
cool.
I just gotta say, I remember one of the things is when you'd play a buddy in, like NFL 2K1 or something like that, the plays would show up on the VMU that you would select on the screen. So it was a way to keep them from seeing, what you were
doing.
picking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like instead of hiding your cursor in NFL Blitz, you could just,
Yep.
So clever. Love
Yep.
that.
It was,
Yeah, it was-
the health condition for Code Veronica.
Yes, it was that
Yeah.
too. Yep. It
Yeah,
was
good
it
memory.
was a lot of things. It was like the Dreamcast to me, and I know I'm not the only one that says this, but it was a console way ahead of its time.
I mean, definitely. The VMU is doing like stuff the bottom screen does for DS games, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But years ahead of it. Super cool.
What's
Yeah.
crazy is those things aren't expensive now. I mean, I'm not talking about the console, but like the VMU, because I borrowed CB's Dreamcast to play a game that we were going to talk about on Patreon, and the VMUs were like $5. Like, that's just blew my mind. I was expecting to pay $25
Yeah.
Yeah.
for VMU. Like, and they're like, no, $5. I was like, really? That's crazy. I mean, just think of what's inside that.
I feel like that actually does imply that a lot of retro game collectors just buy the games and don't play them, right?
You're
I
absolutely
mean,
right.
because you
That
have
would-
to
that would
have
make
those to
sense,
play the
yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the only reasons why people like have to buy, like you can play a Dreamcast game without the VMU,
Mm-hmm.
but there are certain PlayStation games that you cannot play without a memory card. Same thing
Yeah.
with the
Mhm.
GameCube. So
Like, you couldn't play it at all, or you just couldn't
couldn't
save
play
your
it at
game?
all.
Hmm.
Like I think it's Gran Turismo 3 A spec. If you didn't have a memory card, couldn't do anything.
Because you had to save like your driver's license onto a memory card.
And so you're like, okay, I can't save my driver's license, so I can't advance forward. Because I remember when my brother bought me that game, we had to leave and go get a memory card and come back.
Oh wow, that would be annoying.
So let's talk about our experiences with the Dreamcast. First off, did you own one? And if so, what were some of your favorite titles or memories of the console with the worst timing when it comes to release date? CB?
When it launched, I didn't have one. My next door neighbor had one. I now own 3 of them. And I think it's one of the better ways to play Code Veronica X. Well,
You mean Code Veronica?
Yeah, Code Veronica X was GameCube. But yeah, it be like growing up. My brother had the PlayStation, I had the Xbox. So it was unfortunate. Like when my parents like, "Oh, what about this one?" Because they remember seeing like the Dreamcast being clearanced out, and at the time we were like, "Yeah, but they just announced that like Sega's not a thing anymore, so I don't want to buy a console that's not going to have any future games."
Yeah, there's only 618 games on it. I don't remember the number. What was the number?
619, yeah.
19?
That's if you include all the Japanese releases.
Yes, I'm sure that does.
Is
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very small North American library. Like it's one of the easier ones. I think it's like 137.
Got to get that blue stinger, baby.
So
What about
there's some expensive titles on there.
Ill Bleed? Right, that's an expensive one.
Gigawing 2, which is a shmup,
Yeah.
is expensive.
Sounds like a chicken wing place for dude bros. Giga Wing.
But it's there's the Berserk game.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, is that? Oh, no, it's got a dumb name. It's like
It's
Guts
like
Revenge.
Guts Sword or something. Or,
yeah, it's like sword. Oh, Guts Revenge, Sword of the Berserk. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what a dumb name.
But I mean, being someone who had the Genesis and the Sega CD and the 32X, like we were all in on Sega. So like the fact that I'm part of the problem. Like we didn't bite on the Dreamcast, and now that I
Well,
own one,
I mean-
I'm like I love it.
Like I don't mean to cut in your time, but like their marketing ploy for this, like a lot of people talk about marketing for the Saturn was weird, but the marketing for the Dreamcast is the worst that has ever been.
That's awful.
It was literally just the little spiral thing would come up on screen, and it would say it's thinking.
Yes, yeah. I remember that.
Like nobody that was not tied to any console, not tied to any game. I don't even think it talked about Sega. It literally just came up with a little spiral thing.
Dreamcast
said it's
with the
thinking.
orange spiral thing.
Yeah, and that was it until the day. I'm pretty sure. No, maybe it was a little before the day of. Like, so nobody, not even vendors, knew what the hell was going. Like, they didn't know it was coming into existence. So
I guess the intrigue made 250,000 people buy it on day one, though, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
But no one else showed up, which is the problem.
To this day, though, it still has two console variants that I want more than anything, and one of them is the Hello Kitty console. Dude,
okay.
it's see-through. It's see-through crystal pink.
Wow.
it's a see-through console, but that one and the Code Veronica red one that they did.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Thing.
There's a Code Veronica red one. There's a Gundam one.
Of course.
I know the 2K one, the football 2K one. The black one is what everyone wants.
Yep, and it looks real pretty.
Is it just
it
a black
does look
Dreamcast?
nice.
It's
just
black
a black
Dreamcast. So the orange spiral actually pops more on it.
No, I mean, just a black Dreamcast sounds cool. That's why I was checking.
Yeah,
it looks bad.
Yeah.
It looks badass, but still, mine came with white controllers.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
ouch. Okay.
What games did you like to play on it, TB?
Code Veronica.
Oh, that's it.
Well, the 2K, like, I still stand by the fact that the 2K series, because I remember playing NFL 2K and MLB, the MLB one. I can't remember which year one I played, but that was some of the most fun I had playing an MLB game until MLB 2K, I think it was 2K5 on GameCube. Which, to this day, I still think is one of the best baseball games out there.
Zach, what about you? Lay some memories on us.
Sure. Well, I briefly owned a Dreamcast because my aunt had a boyfriend, and this boyfriend had a Sega Dreamcast. And whenever she would watch me, he would let me, play the Dreamcast while I'm sure that they were off watching television, I'm sure, when she was babysitting me. And so I occupied a lot of time down playing that, but he did not like Dreamcast. He didn't like the games. He thought they were all weird. So he said I could have it.
Oh man,
which is super cool.
Wow.
So for about 5 or 6 months, I did have it until they broke
Okay,
up.
don't tell anybody about what's going on upstairs while you're.
And then, but after they broke up, he just like took it out of my room when I wasn't there one day. Took it back.
Wow.
So he reneged on the gift once Auntie wasn't putting out anymore, I guess. But I do have some memories. A lot of game rentals from the era. Sonic Adventure. I actually had the disc. Played that a lot. Loved the first Sonic Adventure. What a different speed it was from the Genesis games. Especially, and when you're, as I was like 8 or 9 or whatever. So like, I didn't get to. It just felt like, oh man, this is a magical Sonic game. This is so different now. Like you don't really know how stuff is made as much back then. So I had a lot of fun with that. I played a lot of Sonic Shuffle, I remember, especially with my brother.
I don't know what that is.
It's Mario Party with Sonic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and therefore better, obviously. It's decidedly not better when you go back and play it when you're older.
Right.
When you were younger and you liked Sonic more than Mario, definitely felt like it was better. But yeah, I played a lot of that. Was way into Jet Grind Radio, as it was called back then. Love that game. It's a whole game just skating, resisting authority, bro. I'm all in. Shove this spray can right up the man's behind. I remember playing Prince of Persia Arabian Nights, which is the Prince of Persia 3D port on the Dreamcast. Played that a great deal. Had a lot of fun with that. Because it made it playable, because the PC version is terrible. The Dreamcast version, still not great, but it is playable. And that's
I never played it, so
that's key.
Yeah, we'll take what we can. Years later, I would go back and play Omicron, the Nomad Soul, when I was older and found a friend with a Dreamcast and begged him to let me borrow it so I could play Omicron. That's a very weird video game. This is the first game. This is the first game, Quantic Dream, and it had David Bowie in it. Do you remember?
I do remember that.
Very weird game. You could like possess people and control them. Yeah, very, very unique game. But really, with the Dreamcast, what comes to mind with the Dreamcast more than anything, Shenmue, baby. I loved Shenmue. Still do. Incredible. But, at the time, to see that kind of cinematic flair in a video game, it was just trying so hard to be so filmic, and it succeeded. And it did this incredible selling of this virtual world, where people were on a schedule and, I got to go meet this guy after dinner, but you actually have to like wait till after dinner time to go meet him at the store, so you had to like, well, what would I do if I was just trying to kill time? I would go to the arcade and play some Hang On, and then that's exactly what you could do in Shenmue.
It seems like a very Kojima thing to do, honestly.
Yeah.
Make you actually wait until after dinner time.
It's good.
Right.
It's good. So yeah, Shenmue 2, they let you skip ahead, but the OGs know how hard it was in the first Shenmue to kill time. But it was just so much fun. It had that really good combat system based off the Virtua Fighter engine. So when you did get I feel like there were only like 4 or 5 fights in the whole freaking game, but you remembered all of them because of that, I guess. And even the goofy stuff like, forklifting to afford a boat ticket, being the third act, part of the third act climax is pretty hysterical. But there's just something that really just, ingrained itself into me at a young age. And I'll never forget those fond memories of Shenmue in particular. A lot of love for the Dreamcast just because of the hardware and the VMU and playing Sonic and everything. But dude, Shenmue was something special.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for sharing, man. Kevin.
So like I said, the Dreamcast was my first kind of go with actually being a fan of video games. Like it was the first console I actually saved up for on my own. I did not buy it at launch because I didn't know it existed until it launched. And then, like I said, you have to save up money afterwards. So, but it was so exciting going and getting it, coming home and unpacking it in my bedroom at the time. And sitting down with this weird ass controller that had a joystick, 2 trigger buttons that weren't like they weren't like push buttons. They were like squeeze buttons.
Squeeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, and this is kind of like I'm just going to give a shout out to the sports games because the first experience I had with these was playing NBA 2K. And if any of you played this, you might remember, but to shoot free throws in that game, you had to squeeze the triggers and put there were 2 arrows that would show up on the screen on the outsides, and you would squeeze the triggers, and as you squeezed them, they would come and you're into the middle of the screen towards the basket, and you had to get them to line up perfect and then hit shoot.
Dude, this is something I hadn't thought about in years, but I am remembering this now. That's incredible.
Dude, at the very first, like, I'd never seen anything like this before. Like, this is monumental. And like the worse the worse a player was at shooting free throws, their stats, the harder it was. Like they would go faster depending on how hard you squeezed them.
Yeah.
So you had to get the pressure right. It was never a push or squeeze all the way down. It was never that. It was always like you had to meet somewhere in the middle, and it was infuriating at first, but it was still like mind-blowingly like this is amazing that this can do this. So yeah, and I feel like you had to do something like that for field goals in football, but I might be wrong. But I do specifically remember the basketball games doing that for free throws, and it was just like, holy crap. Outside of that, I mean, the Dreamcast was my first and really only journey into the Resident Evil world with Code Veronica, and that was really awesome. Sonic Adventure, obviously. I don't. Everybody knows about Sonic Adventure. I don't need to.
Yeah. Although, can we take a brief moment with Code Veronica to talk about how terrible Steve is? I mean, just what a wretched character. That whiny guy with his little dual Uzis or whatever he's got going on.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That kid sucked.
Yeah, that kid was.
That game overall is amazing, but Steve sucks.
Yep, Steve sucked. I remember struggling so hard with that first, I guess, real boss, because there were like mini bosses, but I remember struggling so hard with that first boss that I guess, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a mechanic in an airplane that you had to use, and I could not figure it out to save my life.
Yeah.
Did end up figuring it out finally, but it took so long. And obviously there's Crazy Taxi. Like I'm not big into racing games, but that was just a fun arcade. Just sit down and just plow through hours and hours of just driving through the streets, going as fast as you can.
Yeah. I was waiting for my moment. Yeah.
But then, quite possibly, so the Dreamcast to me has two of the best games in their genre ever. That is, in fighting games, Soul Calibur. I mean, it did things no other game had done, and still to this day, like the original Soul Calibur is just an amazing game to play. Yeah. Like they hit that one out of the park. It was the first fight. I don't know if it was the first fighting game with the storyline, but it was the first one I played with the storyline, so that was really cool. And then it's also home to Grandia 2, which is the best game ever.
I can attest to that being a great JRPG.
It really is, and it is so. Yeah. I mean, I know that they did the re-releases and stuff recently, but it really is such a. You have to play it. You have to play it to understand. It's just they did something there that has not been replicated since, and I don't know why. But such a blast.
Grandia 2. You've intrigued me so much since learning it was your favorite game, because it's kind of an unassuming looking JRPG, right? It kind of looks kind of low key. So it's just not something, not trying to put it down. It's just not a game you would expect to be somebody's favorite game of all time, which makes it all the more interesting to me, honestly. And it kind of it has like chill JRPG vibes that really intrigue me, especially after playing some of the Trails games.
Yeah.
Especially it's got a lot of that turn order manipulation stuff, right, too, in Grandia?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So I gotta get on
there is a name for that. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it does have, and there's ways to affect it. It's really, I'm going to go play it again now.
And the campfire moments are just really great in that game.
Right, so there's like a lot of, I think Scott was telling me, there's just like a lot of just characters just talking, right? Just hanging out.
There's so much character. There's so much character building and relationship. But the cool thing is like, if you're into that, you can go do that. If you're not, don't. I mean,
you can skip it.
Yep.
You just go to bed.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, dude,
I did, and dude, me usually go to bed in those situations. I read every conversation.
Yeah.
That's just
because I felt like the relationships between your character with each individual character was really, really well done.
Man, I think next time it goes on sale on the Switch, I think I'm gonna have to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to go too long, but I remember playing Grandia 2 when I first started playing. I hated that main character.
Oh yeah,
I'm playing the game, going through it. And I'm like, this is not going to last. This is not good, and because he's, I don't want to spoil anything, but he's a little prick. And it's. I remember thinking that, and thank God I stuck through with it because, it really.
When you made the sale to Zack, stop selling it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm done. I'm done.
So he's a prick and he learns to grow. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is his name? What's his name? Dart? Is that right, or am I making that up? That's some other. I think I'm thinking of Legend of Dragoon or something.
Yeah, no, his name was.
I'm thinking of the PlayStation JRPG. Never mind. Totally wrong. Okay. My bad. My mistake.
All right.
Yeah. What about you, Scott?
So Scott,
oh my goodness, I shouldn't have gone last because I have played the Dreamcast the least out of everybody, but I did own one. I did not own it at launch. Back in the early 2000s, I got it in my head that I was going to try to own as many consoles as possible, and I was trying to hook them all up to a TV at once with
were you friends with Chris at this time?
No, this is way before I met.
Oh wow,
Chris.
okay.
That's how he was able to push him over the edge later for the NES collection.
Yeah, yeah, right. So I picked up a Dreamcast, and actually, no, I take it back. I played it before that, back in the 90s. Well, it came out in 99, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
99.
Late 99.
So it had to have been late
99.
90s then, or maybe even 2000. I remember playing it at my buddy Dave's house. And we played Hydro Thunder and Off-Road Thunder nonstop. Like, just freaking loved Hydro Thunder especially. But, and if you know Hydro Thunder, you know Hydro Thunder, right?
Yep.
Off-Road Thunder was a 4-wheel version of Hydro Thunder. Same mechanics, but you weren't in a boat, you were in off-road vehicles. Which is just as fun, honestly. It's just, there's something about playing Hydro Thunder in an arcade that makes that game so much cooler with the steering wheel and a boost and, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Off-Road Thunder had these multiplayer modes outside of normal racing that we probably played more than the racing portion of the game. There's one in particular that was like just a massive arena, and you chase each other around, and there was a bomb. Somebody started with a bomb, and in order for you to get the bomb off of you, you had to run into another vehicle, and then it just was a time. Like, you counted down a clock, and whoever had the bomb when the thing hit 0 exploded.
A hot potato.
And then it,
Yep.
yes. But it was very much a new concept for me at the time in video games. And it may have been, the things that were being imbibed at the time, but I laughed so hard playing that game. I really want to go back and just see like how bad that game is, by today's standards.
Yeah.
But that and Sonic Adventure, I played the beginning of that and was blown away. Isn't there like an opening stage in Sonic Adventure when there's like a whale just jumping like right as you're walking, you're running at high speed? I just thought that was so cool. The only other game that I remember playing on Dreamcast is a random one that I wouldn't be shocked if none of you have played it. It's called Incoming. Have you guys ever heard of this game on Dreamcast?
Nope.
I honestly don't think I have.
I'm
sure Chris
freaking
has.
loved this game, Incoming. And Chris, if you have this, I would love to like play this again because I haven't played it in
I'm
30,
checking
20
my
years.
list for you right now.
It's just a turret game. Like you're moving a cursor on the screen, shooting things out of the sky, kind of like imagine like a 3D missile command.
Okay.
And it's just everything that's coming at you. You're trying to protect the city and shoot this, and it's super dumb, but it was just a fun little arcade game that I absolutely love.
I do have
Loved
Incoming.
The game. All right, let's do that. Can we do Seaman? Let's just do a bunch of Dreamcast games for a Retro Outsider
Guess what? Because
episode.
we can also play Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver.
Wow.
And Seaman, and Typing of the Dead, which I put on my list, not as a game that I played, but a game I wanted to play so badly because I'm actually a pretty good typist. And I loved House of the Dead, but it was so freaking hard. I could never get it very far in that game, but if I can type it instead of shooting it, I might have a chance. So
I do own it, and I do have the big stupid keyboard.
You have 2 of them?
No, I only have one. They're not easy to come by.
I know, but I thought that was like like you could play 2 people at once, and that'd be fun.
You can. I don't know. Well, I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, I think we should do a Dreamcast episode next month, or maybe after our 2v2's done. I don't know, but that's it. I don't have a ton of experience. I honestly don't know what happened to my Dreamcast. Like, I have a bin of video game stuff, and my Dreamcast has just magically disappeared, and I would not have gotten rid of it. So I'm very curious as to what happened.
Maybe you didn't get rid of it.
Now you're catching my drift. So that was our experience with the Dreamcast. We got a bunch of comments. I want to go through those. Starting over on Facebook, Nick Brown. He said, I put some hours in the tennis game, but I forgot the name. Topspin. It was basically 3D Pong. Sean Coates actually noted that the game was Virtua Tennis.
Topspin was Xbox.
There you go.
Zack. Jason Kaufman writes in, this was my Tony Hawk 2 console. NBA 2K was also a hit gem of a sports game.
God,
yeah.
I forgot how big Tony Hawk 2 was at the time. Just the Tony Hawk game. Because remember, it was Tony Hawk, Matt Hoffman's BMX, Kelly Slater's surfing,
Yeah.
and
But Tony-
Sean Palmer's snowboard.
But Tony Hawk was a whole other level because like so many kids bought skateboards just because they played Tony
Yep.
Hawk.
Oh yeah,
I amongst them.
it was that extreme sports like reimagining.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yep.
CB?
Sean Coates writes in, the Dreamcast came out at a weird time in my life. On one hand, I had plenty of cherished memories with all the games it had to offer in terms of gameplay and graphics, especially when compared to its direct competition. But on the other hand, it came out at a time when my parents were going through a divorce. Therefore, I was gifted my Dreamcast by my parents as emotional bribery to keep me happy and distracted. The Dreamcast is also the reason I'm a big fan of racing games. Rush 2049, Crazy Taxi, Hydro Thunder, and Daytona USA dominated my life both at home and the arcade. By the way, good timing on this topic as the Dreamcast turns 25 on September 9th. God,
Yeah,
like,
did you know that when you made this topic?
I did not. Yes, I did.
Yes.
I totally
no, you
had it in
didn't.
the back of my
No, you
head.
didn't.
He's so smart.
every single like racing game on the Dreamcast I felt got made into a big budget arcade unit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
And they
It seriously did.
I swear to God, not a single Walmart, like there wasn't a single Walmart that didn't have a Hydro Thunder.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Because you get to hear it all over the Hydro Thunder.
Yeah, no matter where you were in the store. Dude,
Yeah.
and Sean, if you know the story of how I got my N64, you know all about we're kindred spirits with the emotional bribery from our parents with a video game console. So pretty cool.
I didn't know Rush 2049 was on Dreamcast. I thought that was a N64 game.
I don't know. Maybe both. No,
It-
there was San Francisco Rush on N64. I remember that.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
okay. Yeah, I get those
Keep in mind
confused all the time.
This was that era where it's like, oh, if you get the Dreamcast version, you get an additional track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pedro Rosado Feliciano? I hope.
Sure.
The Sega Dreamcast blew my mind as a kid. I remember playing Sonic Adventure for the first time, and for me, it was one of the best games I've ever played. The soundtrack was on point. Very true. The gameplay was fast and fun, and also challenging, and if you wanted a relaxing game, you could just listen to the songs in the Chow Garden while helping them grow up. Dude, the Sonic soundtrack for Sonic Adventure was seriously like that was a home run.
Dude, I mean, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are both phenomenal.
Yeah.
Escape from the city. Oh, stuff.
Is that Sonic Adventure?
Sonic Adventure 2, yeah.
That's two. Yep.
I didn't experience that song until Generations.
Oh,
Yep. I
think it's
mean,
when-
that's Generations is kind of like a reimagining of all the games, kind of actually.
Yosh.
And I actually put that song on I have a summer playlist I create every year, and that song made it to that summer playlist.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And isn't the lead singer of that, wasn't he like in an 80s hair metal band or something?
It's Crush 40. They're a band themselves.
Oh, maybe I had a new version of it? Crush
I mean,
don't
there
know.
are
I thought
there are a
was-
couple versions.
Izzy Casio says, it was the first system I saved up for and paid out of pocket, and I got it at KB Toys.
Hey, look at that, another dead brand.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will forever remember KB Toys as being the store that put out those little wind-up dogs in the front on the floor that would like
Oh.
bark and then do flips.
But it was always
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in that raised platform with the edge around
Yep.
it. But there would always be like the one spinning like car in there too that would knock the dog over.
Yep.
Wow.
Zach looks like he has no idea what we're talking about.
No, I mean, no, I only went to, my only memory of KB Toys is me asking the guy behind the counter if they had Armored Core, and then he like laughed really loudly and like said I was dumb because it's a game that goes for hundreds of dollars. Like, you got to pay like $100 online to get that game. And I was like, great, dude, I'm like 9. I don't know what the hell you're even talking. I just wanted to play the robot game. But I just remember him being weirdly mean
Wow.
to a child. That's my big KB Toys memory.
Wow.
So.
That's rough.
You never went back again.
Yeah, why would I shop there, man? That guy was mean.
Wasn't their logo like a toy soldier?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
KB, the toy soldier, and then the toys. Random for all of us Rockfordians here, but do you remember? All right, because it was the KB Toys in Cherryvale Mall.
Mhm.
Like right across from it is where the Abercrombie
it.
and Fitch is now. It used to be MC Sports.
Mm-hmm.
with that horrible neon that ran throughout that place. I'm just having flashbacks of being a kid standing in the toy store and being like, "Sports place is there."
Remember the Cherryvale Mall out there near Rockford had a pretty good chicken teriyaki place. Remember that?
Kobe,
yes, Kobe Japanese.
Still there, dude. Still there.
Yeah,
And
we actually had some of that
Ah,
when we were there for the Extra Life event.
Oh, really? Was it so good?
it was
Holy cow, it was good.
yeah,
dude,
it's
it's so
it doesn't make sense. Like, it's genuinely good. Not like, oh, good for mall food, but like genuinely good.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. It's
And
still
'cause
awesome.
Because there's always a chicken teriyaki place in a mall with the same style, and it's never as good as Kobe.
No,
It's out of it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
I wanna
Kobe's so
go to
good. It's
Kobe.
on DoorDash, and I have occasionally DoorDashed it. So
That's remarkable. Man, I gotta go there next time I visit. Andrew Jeck writes in, I was only able to play one at a friend's house who got one mainly for pay-per-view availability. My favorite game was Soul Calibur and Crazy Taxi, hoping to add one to my collection one day.
Nice. Moving over to Discord.
Mark Szymanski writes in, I was working at Best Buy when the Dreamcast launched. Very little fanfare. Only a couple of people were outside waiting before the store opened. But the launch titles were incredible. Ready to Rumble was the standout for me. Colorful, crisp graphics.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
So did I.
A lot of fun to play. Sonic Adventure, a couple of racing games, House of the Dead. For a launch day, the game options were really impressive. And then the pirating started. All you needed was a stack of blank CDs and a burner. The awesome system was tainted by excessively reduced game sales from piracy and very soft market for a new Sega system. After the disappointing 32X and Saturn, which for the record, I love both of them. You're not the only one, Mark. I also remember Seaman being groundbreaking, although I never played that one.
You've got to be
You know what
careful of the
else?
pronunciation. You got to say C-Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
It's not multiple hombres.
I also forgot this is around the time that like LimeWire and the Pirate Bay were a
Yes.
thing. So
Oh,
you could
yeah.
even download these.
This is the height of piracy for sure.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, like back when Napster actually meant something.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Winamp,
oh yeah.
dude.
Everybody was
It's the
doing
best
it.
time.
Everybody was doing it.
Thomas
Yep.
Beck says, cool name. That's all I know about it. But Sega always had the coolest names, which is why I always wanted a Sega console, not a Nintendo. One other
Yeah, I
thing
left that in
Sega
there
did
for you,
better
Kev.
than Nintendo.
I mean,
I do. Well, like Sega's first, the SG-1000.
it's pretty cool when you,
Well,
when you read a.
I mean,
a
Nintendo's
comment.
first was the family computer.
It's not very exciting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's nice when you read a comment from a listener and every single word is just right. You know, it's just nice.
Yeah.
You get that.
Jacob
He's got a
Gunnarsson
point.
says, to me, the Dreamcast has been just that, a dream. I wanted one so badly when I was younger, and it seemed every time I had a chance to get one, I wasn't in a position to claim it. Now it's kind of a moot point. Obviously, I should just get one, but I've forgotten why I wanted one so badly, or would I even play it at this point. Well, Jacob, I'll tell you what, you'll probably be able to find one in R2V2, just say.
Though
Yeah, that's a good point.
you probably would never really play. Let's be honest with yourself.
Yeah, but it would be
Yeah.
cool to own one.
How much does Skies of Arcadia go for on the Dreamcast? Hundreds of dollars.
$100.
Yeah.
Another
It's,
great game, but I did not play it on Dreamcast. I played it on the GameCube.
By the way, thanks Thomas, because now I'm sitting here thinking about what every person, like what every company named their consoles, and I'm like, yeah, Sega did the best at it.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause Nintendo, bland but consistent. Microsoft, confusing. PlayStation
Yeah.
just numbers it.
right. No, yeah, Sega was the most fun, right? I mean, it was a Master System, right? Just asserting its dominance right out the gate.
Well, no, the Master System was their second console.
Yeah.
The SG-1000, the Master System, then the Genesis.
Yeah.
I think the
To
only
answer
one,
your question, Zach, Skies of Arcadia is about $120.
Okay. That's
about
not
$100.
that's not as much as I thought it was for a game that's otherwise unattainable. Outside of the
Legitimately,
GameCube version, obviously.
I think like the most expensive game on the Dreamcast is Giga Wing 2.
Right.
So
But if you go on Wednesday, it's a little cheaper.
It took me a second.
I don't know. I'm lost.
Wouldn't it be on Wednesday?
It's a Wing Wednesday.
It's a Wing Wednesday.
Wing Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, you're up.
Yes. Sorry, CB so disappointed me.
yeah.
The joke's
I mean, that
so
was like
bad
a-
that
that-
it went below Scott Clark level bad.
Dude, I don't know.
Oh, that's rough.
These guys were laughing.
I thought it was great.
TJ Katsune writes in, I was number 2 in line at the EB Games in Cherryvale Mall. Dude, shout out to Kobe Japanese. On release day. I ended up having to take the system with me to school and carried it around in my backpack all day. Dude, that's risky.
I would be so
Like
nervous.
in the box?
Dude,
That's
I
a
would-
thick box too.
I would just be holding
Dude,
on
I
my
would be
backpack
so
with a chair.
nervous.
Yeah. Still don't know how it didn't get stolen or how I didn't get jumped for it that day. I remember the production problem was the first presses of Sonic Adventure and had to go return the game 3 times before I got a working copy. I finished collecting
wow.
a full Dreamcast US set around 2010 and it's still one of my favorite consoles and still have my original launch console. I also own a Naomi 1 and a Thomas Wave arcade boards now, or the big brothers to the Dreamcast. For 6 years, I helped out with a 24-hour marathon stream of Dreamcast games to promote Extra Life. All right, dude, so this is the number 1 Dreamcast fan right here.
Yeah.
Well, right.
Oh my
and see,
God.
the funny
Wow.
thing is, we both went to the same high school, so I am also amazed that he did not get jumped.
I'm surprised
Wow.
you didn't jump him.
I was just gonna
You get your collection started early.
No, because we knew each other in high school.
I was
Like,
all right.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
When are you going to a store before school?
I-
What store? What mall is open before school starts?
Dude, this is in the time like when Cherryvale, like EB Games and GameStop did midnight releases and things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
if it's midnight, you got like a good 6-7 hours to go home first. I'm gonna have to pick his brain about that.
Why are
Like,
you attacking
like,
TJ?
I'm not attacking him. I'm just curious. Like, why did he have to take it to school?
Yeah, no, that's interesting because I definitely remember getting the Spider-Man 3 game before school when that came out.
Okay.
And that was 16, but I feel like they just
But then
opened
you went
it.
home and went to sleep?
No.
Well, for
But I
like
thought-
console release days, like places used to open early because when I got my GameCube, Best Buy opened that day at like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
what it is?
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Yeah, so I'm saying they must have opened early for some games or something, or maybe I'm just totally making.
Chris,
this
you're
movie
going to
up.
have to tell
That's
me what
possible.
a Naomi 1 and a Thomas Wave arcade boards are later.
That's fine. They're expensive. Drew Ross writes in, I remember waiting in line launch night at my local Walmart with a few people. Had it a couple years and loved it. I was a huge sports fan as a teen, so I was blown away by the sports games like NBA and NFL 2K and Virtua Tennis. Had some good games playing co-op with friends and family. Single player side, I remember Resident Evil Code Veronica and Shenmue being really impressive at the time. Sadly, it was all short-lived. I eventually sold it to go towards the PS2 launch. The Dreamcast was a good memory in my gaming history.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Tim Thane writes, I skipped over the Dreamcast. I must have been in junior high when it came out, and I wouldn't have had the money to go out and get a new console. I do have a couple on the sideline memories, though. I remember I was big into wrestling games back then, and on the Dreamcast they launched a Royal Rumble game that had, I forget, either 8 or 16 characters on screen at once, and I remember that being such a big deal that I was sad to miss out on. Previous consoles only allowed 4 wrestlers at a time. Also, there was a pretty epic episode of South Park about Cartman getting a Sega Dreamcast that I'll always remember.
Oh man, I don't remember that. I remember the one where he got
I
a
don't
Wii.
remember that either.
There's a South Park game on the Dreamcast too.
Yes, yeah. that
Oh,
was.
okay. I did not know that.
Didn't know that either.
Oh god, I'm trying.
Last
I'm trying to
comment.
think of what it was.
Last comment comes from Stefan Rombing, one of our listeners over on the other side of the pond. He says, I love my Dreamcast. Still one of the best consoles in my mind, and one of the best consoles for those who used to be, quote, old school pirates. No mods needed for borrowed games. Probably one of the reasons it died so quickly. Nothing we thought of back in the day, though. Yeah, fair enough. Wow. That was a great topic. Zach, thank you for putting together all the information. Sorry I'm so ignorant when it comes to the Dreamcast. I have very little experience. But what I did play, I did have a good time. So there is that. Next week it's going to be the first of the month, so we're going back to community questions. So stay tuned to the socials. Have those video game related questions ready to go because we want to answer them on the show. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thank you so much for listening. As always, these episodes are produced by him right there, Kevin Honigford, and all the music that you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. His website, again, is stemagemusic.com, STEMAGE music.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zach, any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
So similar to you, Scott, I watched a movie that is not as bad as its reputation, The Crow.
Yeah.
I watched the new Crow movie over the weekend.
Okay.
And while it is also not a good movie, it's not terrible either. Perfectly fine movie. And I did buy into the little cute romance in the first half of the movie. But weirdly, once the crow shows up, it turns into a pretty bad time. So
Oh, wow.
Really?
yeah,
That's not cool.
It was like I could have just watched this movie about these two lovers running away from rehab and living a life. But you wanted the crow stuff to be cool, but I do appreciate when he's the crow. At first, he's pretty bad at it. Like he doesn't know how to kill people and be a tough guy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. But I don't know. There's a complete lack of energy to the action scenes that totally bogs it down. And that's a real killer, for
I thought you said this movie wasn't as bad.
it's not as bad as its reputation. That does not necessarily mean it is not worth like a 9% on a Rotten Tomatoes, I guess. Like it is a perfectly fine motion picture. But
I actually borrowed the original from a friend on disc because I hadn't seen it in forever because I wanted to rewatch it. And so yeah, I remember liking it a lot. There's so much craziness with the production of that film.
Yeah.
But
and more than anything, I just want to say, Kevin, dude, it's great having you on the show. It was a lot of fun having you here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's always good having Kevin.
yeah, maybe next time you can watch the right direct.
I mean, you are right. The direct from like 2 months ago was a turn-based RPG fan's wet dream. I agree with you there. No doubt.
It really, and that's why I was confused. Like okay, Suikoden is on there.
Like as I'm sitting here reading, you guys are like, what? I'm like, I swear, I just watched it. Yeah, okay.
CB, how about you?
Well, I also saw a movie, which I alluded to earlier. If you haven't seen Alien Romulus, go.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. I've seen it twice already.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
I was actually planning on it, but it
It's
hasn't happened yet.
Dude, it's really good. And then in anticipation, I have a movie that I'm probably going to be talking about next week, but I finally got a hold of a copy of Guardians, which for those who don't know, it was Russia's attempt to make an Avengers movie.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, I think I've heard about it. I didn't know it was...
Where like instead of a Hulk, it's a giant like Kodiak bear.
I think I remember seeing
half man, half bear. I got a Blu-ray
I've seen
copy
some
of
YouTubies of it.
Yeah, it just got here. I cannot wait to watch this thing. So stay tuned for next week because I'll probably be talking about it.
Nice. Kevin, how about you?
I did not watch a movie. I went kayaking, which is weird.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I stepped out of my comfort zone a little bit, and now like I want to go again so bad. I can't wait. So I just like I'm not necessarily saying go kayaking, but step outside your comfort zone a little bit because I never know what happened. Like now I have a new hobby that Jackie and I can do together, and I was not expecting it at all. I expected to go and sink and flail and die, but no, it was really quite serene and quite calming and like really enjoyable. I did not think that was going to be the case.
Kevin, I can
man.
back you up. I went kayaking the first time a few months ago, and I thought it was going to be boring as hell, and it was a really good time. Yeah, so I can back you up.
There's a place you can go here in Rockford. I went with my wife a couple years ago, and yeah, same thing. I was like, it's weird. Like when you think of canoeing, you think of like hard work.
Yeah,
right,
right.
But kayaking it's still some work, but it just still feels more relaxing than canoeing.
Yeah, it really was. We went on the lake and just a chill time. It was awesome.
Very cool. Well, thanks so much, guys, for being here, and thanks to everybody listening that stuck around for this long. Really appreciate it. I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson, Chris Behrensmeyer, and Kevin Honigford, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there is no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.
I'm finally part of The Gaming Outsider.